Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I am your host, LJ Young. How are you guys today? I hope well. Let me give a few minutes, let a few minutes go by so people can, because since I started a couple minutes early, give about 3-4 minutes for people to jump in here into the room so we can get started today. Today's Q&A Sunday. Good morning, Quentin. Good morning, TJ. Good morning. Sup, Johnny Blaze. Welcome. Get on in here. Sup, Mark. SMD family jumping right in. I'm assuming everybody's getting the notifications, which is a good thing. Get on in here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Randall. Thank you, Randall. Much appreciated. Thank you for the shout out. Appreciate it, man. This is what keeps me going. People telling me what I've done. You know, if they don't tell me, I'll never know that what I've done for them. So I really appreciate you telling me that. It gives me more drive to keep going. I know I'm going the right way. So thank you. All right, you guys, get up in here. This is Q&A Sundays. About 30 more seconds, and then we're going to get started. Since I started a couple minutes early, want to get people up in here, give them a chance so they don't say, hey, what's going on here today, you know? All right, 15 more seconds, and then we're starting here. Good morning, Jennifer. All right, Mr. Union, good morning. My name is LJ Young, and I am a conscious 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call the debt matrix. The debt matrix is a place where people live that believe in credit and debt and finance and everything under the sun that goes down in value, that goes down. They just keep financing and living paycheck to paycheck and just cannot figure out why, right? So what I've done is I decided to be like any other person on YouTube, okay? Teaching people finances to show how simple this is. It's really simple. The facade is to make it look like it's complicated. That's a facade. That's not true, right? So what I do is I expose what I call the glitches in the debt matrix. And the glitches are things that don't make mathematical sense, but yet people still continue to do them. They're like, hey, man, I know I finance that car. I'm going to be paying more for that car than what it's actually worth today. I finance it for 72 months. But people are like, whatever, that's okay. And then they sign on the dotted line and can't figure out why they're living paycheck to paycheck. Financing things that go down in value don't make any sense. And since math and money are one, and the only thing that can separate math and money are feelings, right? But since math and money are one, if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense either. CENTS. Then and how I do this is just add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. All right. So if you're new to my channel, this is going to be the very, very hard part for you, but it's really simple math. Okay. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. Now, this number is going to be a large negative number. It's going to be very, very large. Okay. And when I say large, a large number means many different things to many different people, but they don't know that. Okay. So whatever large is to you in your head, you're going to look at that large negative number and be like, man, that's impossible. That can't be me. I'm not broke, right? But the math is going to be staring at you right in the face. Here's the hard part. Now you got to believe it. Now you're going to have to believe that large negative number is how much you're worth today. That's going to be the hard part. You're going to be like, you're going to be going over the math, trying to figure out how to change that number. And nothing you're going to be able to do is going to change that number. Nothing. Nothing. Not your credit score, not increasing your boost to your score and your experience. None of that's going to change anything. Nothing. Only you can change this number. Only you. Okay, nothing outside of you will ever be able to change it. Ever. Nothing outside of you. You. And how you're going to start? You got to believe that number. You got to believe you're like, oh, okay, I got to change it from the negative to the positive. This is what math says in grade school. They taught us this in grade school. They did. They taught us what I'm showing you and telling you right now in grade school. This is how I'm unlike anybody else on YouTube. And I'm not bragging. I want you guys to understand something. When you hear me, I'm not bragging. This is what it would sound like when you hear me speak. A lot of people think I'm bragging, right? But this is the real. This is what it sounds like if I really thought I was bragging, right? Me saying, hey man, I know what 5 plus 5 equals. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And now if I said I was bragging because I knew what 5 plus 5 equaled 10, that would look crazy, right? You would look at me like, who cares who cares? Like if I said 2 plus 2 equals 4. Yeah. And I pop my collar or something, right? You'd be like, everybody knows what 2 plus 2 equals 4. Exactly. And that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything fancy at all. This is what makes me different. I make it so simple, you have to believe it. And since I'm confident in math, since I know I could never be wrong as long as the math is right. Listen what I'm saying. I will never be wrong as long as the math is right. And this is you. This is what I do for my clients. That's why I sound the way I sound, because of mathematics. That's it. What's up, Hyphy? Nicer, Joseph, NC Big. Saw you. Now today's Q&A Sundays, to where anybody can come in and ask any personal finance question you wish. Okay. And I want you guys to understand, when you come in here, you join, subscribe, please like, join the SMD family. This is consider this place a safe zone. Like nothing, no question, financial question that you're made to feel like you're dumb for not knowing. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't stand that. That's a lot of people are hesitant to talk about their finances, or if they know about retirement or percentage rates or what equity means. You'd be surprised. This is where it's simplified. We will explain it to you, not just me, other members of the SMD family. And you'll get the correct mathematical answer, and you will leave knowing it's the right answer. You know why? Because the math will add up. The math will make sense. You might not like it. It don't involve your feelings when it comes to math either, because if you add up all your savings and debt and then you see that you're in a large negative number, you're not going to really like that number. You're going to be like, oh man, dang, I can't believe I did that. I'll never get out of that. Whatever concocted it comes in your head, a lot of stuff's going to come in your head, but math is not going to care how you feel about it. You got to do something about that number. Never add your feelings when it comes to mathematics. That will never add up. It will never add up. All right, today is for you guys. Let me put this link up here, just in case anybody want to join the session or even ask a question. Today is all about you guys. But in between time, I'm gonna be saying a few things that to help maybe you newcomers into my channel understand how I teach finances. So what I do as a business, I create your financial foundation. Okay, by sealing up all the cracks in your foundation, and interest are cracks. Put it as I do the monetary, the money part, and the psychological part. Okay, to help you understand that once you become debt free, you cross over into you speak a whole different way about money. You look at the whole world totally different. There's a put it this way: there's an economy that the majority of people in debt cannot see. They just can't see it because they're trapped in a debt matrix where incorrect math makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I lived there. That's why I'm laughing. I'm giggling because I once lived here, right? In this world, incorrect math makes sense. Even that statement doesn't make sense, but it does in the debt matrix. Nicer says, what advice would you give a high school graduate or someone about to graduate soon? When I think about that, Nicer, I put myself back there at that age, but with this knowledge today, what would I do different knowing what I know today? So first, I would stop listening to people telling me to go to college. I would stop listening to them, you know? I would be like, hey, okay, I understand. The TV told me I got to go to college. That ain't gonna be nothing. I know, mom, dad, you told me I'm not gonna. If I don't go to college, I'm not gonna be nothing. Hey, so and so, you told me. It's just that I remember just being bombarded with that. None of that's true. You don't have to go to college. You can still be somebody without college. Trust me, you can. If somebody would explain to me, because I had not a clue what I was going to go do for a career at 18. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was just grabbing at something. What I would do today, I would look around in the what's going on in the United States and find out which job would pay me the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Something that would with a type of job that would withstand time. Okay. But I would only need a good solid 10 to 15 years of working. Okay. A solid 10 to 15 years. And then so I would go to college for that particular job or career that I researched first to see how much money it made, right? And see if it's viable in the economy. Then I would go to school, master that, become an absolute professional in that job. So I can call my salary. I can name it, right? I would have asked, like, people pushing me to go to college. I would ask whoever was telling me to go to college. I would say this to them. I would say this to them. Do you still have your student loans? Right? And if they say yes, and their student loans are older than me, I would not listen to that person. Each person that's telling me to go to college, do you still have your student loans? Do you still have your student loans? Because student loans is $1 trillion problem. If you still have yours, you're part of that problem. And if I listen to your advice, I'm gonna be part of that problem, just like you guys. That's what would happen, right? I would make sure I stayed 100% debt free and believe nothing that people told me about credit. Nothing. Don't even listen to people talking about you need a credit score. You can't get nothing without credit. You need credit to get through life. That's absolutely not true. Not true in the slightest. That's a myth. Stay out of debt. This is the number one rule, youngsters. Fresh out of high school. Never ever finance anything that goes down in value. I don't care what it is. I don't care what people in the debt matrix tell you. Never do that. All you got to do is Google Trillions of dollars in student loan debt, never get a student loan ever. Trillions in credit card debt, never get a credit card. Trillions in car loan debt, never ever finance a car ever. The numbers are telling you what to do the opposite. If I had known that fresh out of high school, I'd have been a millionaire by the time I was 25. I would have been a millionaire by the time I was 25. Yes, starting at 18. Yes. I know when people hear me say it, they be like, oh man, that's impossible. No, it's not. It's so easy. It's easier than you could ever believe. And the reason why I'm saying a millionaire, that's a millionaire having a job. Once you understand how to become a millionaire, you'll know a regular job is never ever going to take you to multimillionaire status. That's just logical math, right? You just do the math. You have to create something. That's what I would do. And if you're listening, if you're a high school student, you can tell everybody what you're doing. Hey, how did you become a millionaire? I just believe in the mathematics. They will not hear you. They won't hear a word you're saying. What do you mean? Just no investment in stocks and bonds and houses and real estate and all this other stuff? Nope. That's what everybody in the matrix says you have to do. It's not true. That's not true. When I think back, man, I mean, it's hindsight. I'm supposed to be here to create the next generation of millionaires. Just that's me. And the youngsters that hear me and they figure out I'm just using basic math and I'm dead serious about it. When they catch on you guys, ooh, wait, you guys don't even get it. Nonstop Dre says, how much money do you think you've spent raising your kids from birth until they left the house and supported themselves? That's a good question, Nonstop. And I'm going to put it this way. Had I been debt free raising my children, it would have been nothing. You know those numbers you see on the TV screen? You got to remember when you watch commercials and they talk about, hey, the average cost of this is to raise a kid is this and that and this and that. They're only talking to the average. They're only talking to the average. The average is made up of millions upon millions of people making the same financial decisions as one. Financing cars, financing this, that's what they're talking to. So when you see those kind of numbers, oh man, it's 200,000 plus college and blah, blah, blah. They're only talking to the average, and the average are people in debt. It doesn't cost that much. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cost that much. I promise you. You get out of debt, you'll see how much it really costs. It doesn't cost that much. They're only talking to people in debt. You know, it's so funny now that I'm out of the debt matrix. Any investor that tells you something like, hey, invest in this, you'll get 7% back, 6%. You always ask them, hey, is that guaranteed ROI, return on investment? You ask them, say, hey, is that guaranteed? They're all going to tell you no. There is a guaranteed investment right now. I guarantee you there's a guaranteed ROI investment, and that's taxes. Get out of debt and you'll see it. That's guaranteed ROI, guaranteed. You know why? Because anything you can do to save on taxes that the majority cannot, that's money in your pocket. That's guaranteed ROI every single year. Almost says they have kids that are millionaires off of toy unboxing videos. I know, you see that? My girlfriend's son watches the Ryan. That's amazing to me. When I see stuff like that, here is a kid that is set for the rest of his life and he don't even know it. He's just playing. He's just playing every day and he is set for the rest of his life. All of his toys are in Walmart. I'm just like, man, this should show you guys in this room. It's easy. It's not complicated to become a it's not. That's the facade. That's the trick. fake it till you make it. Money don't grow in trees. What do you think I'm made of money? Those are all things people say in the debt matrix. That's all over there. Remember, anything you hear, there's always an opposite when it comes to money. Always. Amal says, so no college is not always the answers, but the powers that be want you to believe that so you can become a debt slave to school loan. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you guys, I'm not against student loans. I want you guys to I want you to understand that I am not against student loans. This is the rule. High school students, you guys in college right now, this is the number one rule you should always remember. However long you went to college, give yourself that loan to pay back the loan. So if you went to college for 4 years, you give yourself a maximum of 4 years to pay that loan back. You do not go over that, because anything over that would make no mathematical sense. You go to school 4 years, you got a loan. Yeah, you're going to pay some interest, blah, blah, blah. But 4 years is good. But when you start getting into 10, 20, 30 years, oh no, that will never, ever make any mathematical sense. And let me tell you guys, young people, this is what I want you to do. Anybody that has student loans that are older than you and try to justify keeping 20-year-old student going to college for 4 years, keeping the student loans for 20, if they try to justify it to you, tell them to justify it on paper. Write it down. Say, hey, if you can make this make sense, I'll believe everything financially that's coming out of your mouth. Make this make sense. They will never be able to make it. But if they even try it, you better not ever take financial advice from them. I don't care who it is, your mama, daddy, cousin. It doesn't matter. The debt matrix doesn't care. It must make mathematical sense. If you always remember that, you will be rich for the rest of your life. Amal says, you have people that want to pay off their credit cards before student loans. You know, Amal, if it's like when I create plans for people, you know, it might be that order. You know what I'm saying? Credit cards might be in that order of the plan to pay their debts off. So it's not really, you know, because trust me, because there's varying different amounts of student loan debt. I promise you, totally different. But everybody believes, the majority believes that theirs is a lot of money, but they don't know, they're not comparing themselves collectively. NC Big says Ryan is worth 14 million and he has an app. Yeah. When I see stuff like that, NC Biggs, I just say anything's possible, man. I don't really, you know, and not saying you are, but I don't really get jealous of, man, that dude and his parents, they're lucky. They got lucky. No, they just did something. They took a leap that the majority of people will not do. Like what I'm doing right now, people won't even do this. And I'm not even at Ryan status money. You know what I'm saying? But where I'm at today, people would never do this, ever. Quit your job? Oh, no. That would never happen. Good morning, Vision. Vision says, morning to you and everyone in the live chat. Excellent channel. I have learned from you to never give anyone financial advice until I get my financial house in order. Thank you, Vision, for saying that. Much appreciated. I want you guys in the room to see, like, somebody saying this to me, right? They know, Vision knows she can say that to me without any ego involved. Like I'm saying I'm better than her or him, whatever, that I know something they don't, you know what I'm saying? It's even to be able to say, hey man, I've learned not to, like, for somebody to say, I've learned not to give anybody else financial advice until I get my own finances in order. That makes total sense. But a lot of people would take offense to that, right? It's nothing to take offense of. It's just mathematics. Once you change it here, your whole life is going to change. It's going to change. Do I sound like when you listen to me, do I sound like I might be kind of just guessing at what I'm saying, or I sort of kind of know? No, I know. I know for 100%. I know I'm right. How do I know this? Mathematics. Sup, Cosmic? Thank you very much, Cosmic. So, Dave, Vision says, I have also learned to only take financial advice from people who have their financial house in order. Thank you again. Isn't it? And Vision, doesn't that just make sense? I mean, it's nothing even fancy. Like, hey, you don't know the stock market, this and that. No, it ain't even, you don't even have to go that far. People that are nervous about money, I want you guys to understand something. When you guys watch TV and you hear these fancy financial advisors on TV behind a fancy desk with stuff and numbers flashing behind and stuff rolling across the screen, and you think in your mind, say, oh man, you got to be smart to know all that. Oh man, that don't mean nothing. It means nothing. It's a facade. You don't even have to know all that. You think I know anything about the stock market? Nope, don't even care. I don't care about the stock market. So what? This is what I do know. If 85% of Americans are in debt, how many of that percentage you think is investing in the stock market with money they don't even know they don't even have? People in debt don't even know they don't have any money. And then they're going to give it financial advice about investing in the stock market when they don't even know they don't have any money. That makes absolutely no mathematical sense in any part of the world. They don't know that. I do. Anybody that try to give me financial advice, you know what I say? Let me see your personal credit report. All three. No, not your credit score. I know you've been raised to believe credit score means anything. It means absolutely nothing. Your whole entire credit report. What's up, Juan? Nonstop Dre says, what's good? What's a good college degree that'll make you money? I'm only in college because of my GI Bill. I'm currently majoring in computer science. Your thoughts? What majors would you recommend? Computers for sure. You're in the right area, Nonstop Dre. Okay, but computers. I was a computer engineer for 20 years, right? So computers they're going nowhere. Computers will be here until you're dead. Okay, so you're in the perfect field. Now you got to figure out what area in that field that you would like to master, right? Something that you're going to like, not going to love, you're just going to like, because once you're out of debt and you make a lot of money in a short amount of time that you're just going to like to do, but one day you're going to want to create your own if you ever want to become multimillionaire status, because you can never become a multimillionaire with a regular job. That's mathematically impossible. So something that you just like, you're in a good field. Now you need to get in there and master it. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound so stupid, so simple. You're not going to even believe me, but whatever you choose, Nonstop Dre, make sure whatever software you choose to work with, right? This is what I want you to do. And this is very important. Always read the documentation on that software. Always read it with your own eyes. Don't go into a job just listening to people that are telling you what to do and how to do something in the software. That's fine and dandy. And I'm not saying that they don't know, but if you read the documentation that comes with that software, because a lot of people, computer engineers, they never read the documentation. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I had a major project one time, right? And I was trying to do something that I know was possible. So I went to what's called the VMware world and asked the so-called VMware expert. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing right here. Is this possible? They were like, nah, that ain't possible. You can't do that. Software is not designed to do this. And then I said, no, I didn't take their word for it. I was like, there is no way VMware said this will only scale this way, and that's it. Then I went back and read the documentation with my own eyes. I took 1 hour to read all that boring documentation and found the answer. And I was like, it's right here. And then I went back and emailed the experts. I said, hey, man, that's not true what you were telling me. The answer's right here. They're like, oh, man, I didn't know. Right there told me something. It said, don't believe everybody's titles when you jump into a job. Don't think because they're at a certain title or level, they know something more than you. Don't fall for that. Titles mean absolutely nothing. You continue to keep that with you, you'll climb straight to the top. Juan says, you should have been my math teacher. They didn't teach you to be debt free, just how to calculate. Yeah, that's calculate equation. That's part of the conditioning. Now, you guys, when you hear me talk about the system and become rich and do the opposite, I respect the system. I respect it. It is a piece of art and is fueled by people in debt. It's so obvious. It's not a secret. It's fueled by people in debt. The majority must remain in debt. So I want you guys to hear this. It doesn't matter if I say this out loud. People in debt they don't understand what I'm saying. They can't hear me. You guys think I'm joking, right? You guys think, oh man, that's not true, Linnell. You're speaking English. That's what you keep saying. But people keep financing cars. If the majority of people sat down and figured out that financing cars makes absolutely no mathematical sense, the car industry they would go bust. But there must be like that. And in order for me to become rich, multimillionaire, in order for other people to come over here, because everybody can't be rich, everybody can't be wealthy. That wouldn't make any sense. The whole economy would crack because there would be nobody left to finance cars, shoes, purses, lawnmowers, refrigerators, furniture. We need those people. So I respect the system. It must be that way. We must have people scared of taxes, believing taxes are the one that's keeping them down. They can't get ahead because of this and that. We need those people. We need them there. That's how the economy runs. Now, how you pull your feelings out of it, like when you become debt free, right? You're going to see your family members doing the same. They're just digging themselves in the hole and cannot figure out why. You're going to watch them do it, and you won't be able to do anything about it because they can't hear you. Hey, if you keep financing cell phones, you're going to continue to live paycheck to paycheck. You do understand that, right? They won't hear a word you're saying. They won't even hear you. You know what they'll come back and say? Oh, no, man, I got to have the greatest and latest phone. I know you do, person in the debt matrix. I know you do. That's why you live there and don't even know it. They don't even know. But it must be that way. In order for us to remain free, happy, don't worry about 40-hour work weeks, 2 weeks a year, all that stupid nonsense. You won't have to worry about any of that. That's only for people in the debt matrix. Juan says learning artificial intelligence might be, well, oh yeah, most definitely. Oh, you better believe that's true. Believe that. Put it this way. When I found out the internet was invented in 1969 and we didn't really start getting until the 90s. You better believe that's true. You better believe it. Cosmic Wisdom says, learn your craft and be the best. The jobs on internships will come to you. Nonstop Dre, you have to be active in your search and build relationships with your professors. They are the doorkeepers. Cosmic says, I got 20 years in IT at this time. I don't code. Okay. Most definitely. So always do that. You got to remember too, Nonstop, I want you to understand something, okay? And this is my perspective now that I'm out of the debt matrix. You got to remember, when you get a job, the majority of everybody there are there because they need a job. So your relationship will be common because you guys are all related to, will all be related to needing a job to pay debt, 40-hour work weeks, weekends off. Those are all commonalities. That's why you guys, you'll get along. But once, and if you're in debt at a job, you will start to accept them taking your time for free as the norm and count it as being a team player. If you do something off the clock for free, you're cool. You're a team player. No, you're working for free, slave. You're just a slave working for free. Had I known a team player was to give away the time of my life for free, but like IT people, I know this is kind of off the subject, but this just upsets me when I think about it. When I was in it for 20 years, I was always at tier 3. So IT level, you guys, I'm gonna just talk the language, okay? So you understand. I was at tier 3 level. VMware software, virtual servers, VDI desktops in the DMZ. I had to put them in the DMZ, configure it for the when it gets out, not the gateway. Anyway, I can't remember the names. I've been out, but configure them so to make sure everybody can access via the code, the two-factor authentication, all that. Okay, that's where I was at. That's what I was doing. I was also on call for a week every few months, right? That was established, on-call rotation. But do you know I always got called outside of that on-call rotation? You know what that actually means? When I got to the point to where I was scared to put my phone down and leave to a different room, you know what that means? They owned me 24 hours of my life, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that. I did not even know that. What's the purpose of an on-call rotation if they're calling you anytime they want? That's the difference. I would never allow that ever again. Never. That would never happen again, ever. If I ever had to get back into IT to earn some money, I would never allow that. And you know what that makes me? A black sheep. Because there's more people in debt than not that will accept that kind of behavior, working for free. That's slavery. But it's a choice. That's a choice. I would never allow that because I was making six figures. I allowed the 6-figure in a salary. I allowed it, thought I was, man, that is just the dumbest, stupidest nonsense I've ever done in my life. Give away the time in my life for free. Don't ever do that, ever. Debt makes a person do that. When you get out of debt, you would never allow that. You would never allow the attitude of a manager or a boss. If they come in with a bad attitude and try to take it out on me today, if I was in the office and a manager came in with a bad attitude from home, I would say, hey, do we need to go into a room and talk somewhere or something? Because I don't like the way you're talking to me. That's exactly, because if they're talking to me like that now in the open, they're saying that you can respond the same way out in the open, but professionally. You just go, hey, do we need to have a meeting? Because I don't like the way you're talking to me right now. I know people like, oh my God, you would. Yes, when you're not in debt, yes, you would do that. You would do that. You wouldn't allow that. Juan says, want to see who is in debt? Look at the nicest cars at your workplace. Yes, you can see who is in debt. The person that rolls up to your job and thought they got an awesome deal at this certain particular car lot at 1.5 interest rate, they really believe they got a deal. Those are people in debt. Only people in debt say such things. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody in the world, let alone your coworker, they don't know that. They really believe that they got it for the sale price sticker that they saw on the window. They really believe that. For 72 months? You believe you got the sale price, even though you financed the car for 72 months? That makes absolutely no mathematical sense. They don't know that. Juan says, when they ask why you're not interested in overtime, they'll know you're not stuck in like them. Exactly. Well, they won't. No, people in debt won't think that, Juan. If you don't ask for overtime, they will think you're rich. Or they'll think you make more money than them or something. All that. People in debt come up with many things. Hold on. Hello, Ed. Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning, LJ. How are you doing today?
Good morning, man. How you doing?
Nothing much. Just came back from a workout.
Okay.
I hopped on YouTube and I heard you talk about the manager thing. I'm like, wow, that's it sounds like me.
What do you mean?
Because I'm just new to your channel and just hearing what you're saying. I know we spoke previously,
right?
And just knowing that, oh man, I'm in debt, so I'm kind of at the manager's, I want to say will.
Mm-hmm.
So when they disrespect you like that, because you need the job, so you just kind of take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a subconscious thing. You don't even know. Yeah. I mean, you see it happening, but you don't say nothing because you're in debt.
Yep.
When you get out of debt, you'll never allow that to happen. Never.
Yeah.
You'll never.
I told myself, I said, man, I'm never gonna put myself in a situation ever again.
Mm-hmm. And you got to remember too. You got to remember 9 times out of 10, your manager's in debt too, right?
Yeah.
But the manager has been getting away with that so long because of all the other people in debt. They get used to that.
Yeah.
It's almost a normal thing. And they might subconsciously not even know they're doing it until they run into that one person that's debt free and is here because they want to be here, not here because they have to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, working for free. I mean, I want you to do this, Abe. Catch this every time. If you're off of work and you get an email or a text or a phone call after hours, I want you to understand this something. You're working for free.
Mm.
I don't care what it is. If you're just looking at an email, work related, you did it for free.
Yep. Yep. Man, LJ, you gotta. I'm telling people about you. I'm trying to get your subs up because this is this is the quote unquote the red pill content, I would say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, man, let me tell you something too. I want you to see something too. Now you see the subscribers are low. Okay.
Yeah.
I look at it this way because I've heard you can buy subscribers, you can do all this other stuff. Not saying that everybody does it, but you can tell with this type of content that the 1,000 something odd subscribers are truly organic, are truly people that understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just know it. Even though it's low, you know the low number right there. Those are people like, oh man, this dude is telling the truth. And it's kind of, I want you guys to show you too how much room is out here to make money. How much competition. Look at my low numbers as this. How much competition is out here when you come on this side of the game? It's hardly nothing. There's nobody competing over here. There's nobody stepping on anybody. There's nobody trying to get over on anybody. Over here, that's how much room it is over here for you.
Well, I would say LJ because I would say what you're talking about is not quote unquote sexy.
True, that is true. Dave Ramsey said that. I remember Dave Ramsey saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe not in those words, but
it's a big burden to kind of swallow. I say, you know what, man, this is real. I really gotta start thinking about this. It's not something we're comfortable thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
and when you say that, let me tell you something, Abe. That's part of the conditioning for you not to think about it.
Yeah.
It's part of the, people don't really understand that somebody created this. Once you get over here, Abe, you'll see that you'll say, oh, damn, somebody did create this. Yeah, there's no way it would work the way like it's working right now if somebody didn't create it physically and psychologically. It's made to make people scared of taxes. Hey, oh my God, I don't want to get near that. I might go to jail for this and that, right? You just get nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're conditioned to be scared of those things on purpose because once you get out of debt, you're like, oh, that's the purpose of taxes. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, that's why you can go to prison if you do tax evasion. Oh, okay. It really is like that too.
Yeah.
So these low subs, man, I want them. Don't get me wrong, man. I want them to go up. Okay,
yeah,
I do, and I thank you for sharing the channel. Much appreciated. But it will. It's going to blow up. I promise you, Abe. One day it's going to explode.
Yeah. You're definitely speaking into existence, so it will.
Mm-hmm. Because I can see it. And you'll experience this too, Abe. Once you get out of debt, whatever it is that's been said like this, I'm going to put it this way. Whatever that is in the back of your mind that you would love to be doing that wouldn't feel like work to where you would do it for free, that thing is going to come to the forefront of your mind immediately. And then it's not going to go away until you figure out how to make it come true. That's exactly what's going to happen. So everybody has their own. I don't know. Only you know that answer, Abe. Whatever that thing is, whatever that is, it's going to come to the forefront of your mind. And you're going to be like, okay, how can I figure out how to make money from it? And I'm going to give you a hint when you do it. When you do it passionately, right? And people will see it, and then the money will come. That's how it works.
I'm not sure if you. I spoke to you a few times about my story and everything.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm just the whole school thing. It's like, man, I gotta get this thing over with so I can start pay off these student loans quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just make sure that never leaves your mind that you need to pay those student loans off.
Yeah.
Because man, that letter, I ain't gonna lie, that letter when you get that letter that says, "Hey, you're done." Oof.
Yeah.
That letter is beautiful.
So LJ, how long did it take for you to pay off your student loans, if you don't mind me asking?
It took me. Student loans was part of my total debt, so it took me 2 years to pay off all my debt. So I moved. I mean, I went hardcore though. I moved out of my fancy high rise. I sold my fancy Lexus. Sold all my stuff and moved into a room in my sister's house. And people would talk, hey, what's wrong with L? Did he lose his job? Or, you hear all this stuff, people in debt talk, but I had to ignore them. And I went hardcore 2 years, paid it off, everything, including student loans.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely give me hope. I appreciate it, LJ. Thanks a lot for
you're welcome, man.
Yeah. I'll just hop back in the chat.
Okay, cool, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let me go back here. Oh, okay. Did that. Okay, BF Flow says, just like math, they teach you the hard way in the beginning. Sorry, get back on here. 1 second. Hello, Vision, can you hear me?
Morning. Yes, I can, but I have an echo, so I have to pause when you speak.
Okay.
And so I just want to say this. When I was in sales, I learned that I still keep with me. No just means not now, right? And so what I mean by that, like I know you have financial services, and in my current state, I can't afford them. But one day, because of what you've done today, I'll do my best to pay it forward and come to you for financial advice. And one advice for you, you already know this, but to everybody else that may not know, I found out my debt caused me the highest levels of anxiety and stress, to the point where I became like an ostrich when I saw that debt wave come. So I just put my head in the hole, not knowing what to do, but the debt didn't go nowhere. So I'm glad that I kind of found this channel, because now I'm going to try to do my best to tackle my debt. And I just kind of want to say thank you for that.
You are welcome, Vision, and I'm glad you said that. It's just I want you guys to understand that, and I totally forgot. I've been debt free for quite a few years now, but you don't realize when you're in debt, it sits right here on your forehead. Okay, it's heavy right here. You walk around every single day thinking about money from morning to sleep, and once you're debt free, that is no longer. It doesn't exist. That's what I forgot to mention. It doesn't exist. It's not, nothing's here anymore. It doesn't weigh down on me. I don't think about money. I never, ever, hardly ever think about money, ever. Usually around the first of the month to pay rent and whatever utilities I got to pay. But other than that, the rest of the month, don't even think about it. That feeling that Vision described is gone. Go ahead, Vision.
Yeah, that's it. Like I remember the anxiety, and I remember the stress, and like you said, just thinking, oh, how am I going to pay this off? It just keeps climbing, it keeps climbing, it keeps getting worse. And I think the worst thing you can do is to ignore it, and because and I agree with what you're saying. You become a debt slave, and then you're working overtime. You have to work 2-3 different jobs, and sometimes instead of being financially sound, the more money you make, sometimes we go and play with it instead of taking care of what needs to be taken care of. And what I'm trying to say is debt needs to be eradicated as soon as possible. So that's and like I agree with you, and I look forward to come to you for more advice on some of your services. I think you deserve it, and I feel like you're gonna do very well. You have the right energy. You're positive, and you found your purpose as well. So congratulations on that. And it's a good purpose, because it's a purpose that's not just needed where you are. I'm up here in Canada. It's the whole world's gonna need it soon, especially with what they're saying is coming down the line. So I agree with. I appreciate your channel, and I'll go back to the chat.
All right, thank you. That was good. Thank you, Vision, for jumping on. Much appreciated, man. I've helped a couple of people in Canada. I got a couple of clients in Canada right now that I've helped, right? Because Vision's right. It doesn't matter. Math, remember this. Always remember this. Math doesn't care what part of the world you live in. It will be the same. It's never different. Doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what country. If you're listening to this and you don't even live in the US, I'm telling you something. It doesn't matter. I can teach you too. I don't care if you live in the UK, Africa. It doesn't matter. All the math is the same. That's it. Vision that is a very, very powerful statement. Debt. I really believe debt was part of life. I believe that. How do I believe that? Because everybody around me was conditioned to believe the same freaking thing. I knew it. I kid you not. I don't know how to explain this. But when I was in the debt matrix, I knew it. I was like, man, I know I'm supposed to be rich. I know I'm supposed to be wealthy, but I know it's not one of these things. There's a piece that I'm missing. I remember saying that to myself. I'm not seeing something. I used to always say that to myself. I'm not seeing something. Let me tell you guys, most of you guys don't even know what woke me up. Okay. You guys don't know the story. So I'm going to tell you the story right now. I've said it a couple times, but many don't know. Me and my brother was talking last night, and he reminded me of what woke me up. This is what woke me up. Okay. I'm college educated, making a 6-figure income with an awesome job. Okay. Credit good. Never missed any payments. Never missed any payments on my credit cards, car note, rent, nothing. I was never late. 6-figure income. Yes, college 4 years, all that says, that's to society and people in the debt matrix. Oh man, you done made it. You at 6 figures. Compared to who? To you or Elon Musk? You know what I'm saying? $100,000 ain't nothing to Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. I was comparing to other people in the debt matrix, but this is what woke me up. One day I was going to get a loan. Now remember, I've never ever been turned down by a bank for a loan ever. I've never been turned down ever. But this time they turned me down. They said, "Sorry, Mr. Young, you can't get this loan." I was like, "What? What you mean?" I said, "You guys turned me down." "Oh, your debt to income ratio was too high." Right? And I was like, debt to income ratio? What is that? So I had to research that, right? So I went and researched this. Says, hey, if your debt to income is this, and you're in debt more than how much you make, your debt to income ratio is this percentage. All this fancy talk. I was like, oh. But then I came back to the same question. But that still doesn't make sense. I understand the explanation that you gave to me about debt to income ratio, but something still doesn't make sense. I followed all your rules. I got good credit, good job, never missed a payment. But this time you told me no. So I followed all the rules, but you still told me no. And that's the reason. I was like, something's not making sense. So I followed the rules. I got into this much debt because I followed the rules. I'm going to say it one more time. I got into this much debt because I followed the rules. But at this time, even though I've been following the rules the whole time, this time you're telling me no, something doesn't make sense. I was like, That's when the light flipped on in my head. Click. All right. What am I not seeing here? The math didn't make sense. The math told me, Linnell, you are deep in the negative. Deep. Linnell, you know it's not normal to keep student loans for 10 years going to college for only 4. That doesn't make any sense, Linnell. I know you got all these credit cards for emergencies, but how come you don't have your own money for emergencies? I came across Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says, and I not verbatim, but he said, hey, just apply mathematics to your finances and you'll win. I was like, there is no way it's that simple. Yes, it is. Once I did that, I never looked back. Sold everything, sold it all. I was like, sell that, sell this, sell the car, sell the shoes, sell the furniture, move in with my sister in a room at 42, 42, 43, somewhere around there. People thought I was crazy. Oh, what you doing? Why you doing that? Linnell down on his luck? Is he on drugs? All that people in debt speak. They always think that. They always say the weirdest things. They say things that make absolutely no mathematical sense at all. That's why I don't even hear them. I had to ignore them all. Sure did. Why are you doing that? Why'd you go from a Lexus to a old truck? I don't care what people in the debt matrix say. I don't care what they say. Doesn't matter what they say. Doesn't matter what they don't even know. They make no mathematical sense. Whatever comes out of their mouth doesn't even make sense. They don't know that. Stayed there for 2 years. Paid off all my debt in 2 years. It was a hard 2 years too. I couldn't go on vacations. Had to say no to a lot of things. Hey, Linnell, you gonna do this year? Nope. Why not? I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Oh man, Linnell's down on his luck. Whatever, people in the debt matrix, I don't care what you say. Got to the other side. Oh my God, you guys have no idea. Once you get to the other side of debt, you're like, holy crap, I didn't see all this stuff. Nope, you sure didn't. And it was right in your face the whole time, Linnell. You mean to tell me I didn't need a college education? Nope, you sure didn't. You could have became a millionaire years ago, Linnell. And you didn't even need a college education to do it. None of that is true. That's not true. It'll be a good idea to go to college to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Yeah, that's true. Good idea. But do you need it? No, you don't need it. Whole bunch of things I realized. And when you know what took me to you know what it took to break the 40-hour work week mentality, weekends off, Friday, Saturday. Thank God it's Friday, hate Mondays, hump Wednesday. You know what took a year of not working a traditional job, broke that habit, broke it. You know what I think now? Who came up with the 40-hour work week? Wealthy people. Who said 2 weeks a year is good enough for a vacation for a person? Wealthy people. Now I understand wealthy has nothing to do with money. You want to be wealthy? It has absolutely nothing to do with money. Nothing. Time is the most valuable thing on earth. Time. Everybody knows this. You know you're going to die. You know you only have so much time on this earth. How did I forget that? How did I not see the obvious that time was the most important thing on earth? Not money, time. Wealth is this. When you own the time in your life, you have much time as you wish to earn as much money as you wish. Isn't that obvious? I didn't see that. You know why? Because I was blinded by debt. It angers me sometimes. It angers me. I could have been rich years ago. I could have been a multimillionaire years ago. When you guys get on the other side and see how easy this is, it's going to anger you. It's going to insult. You're going to look in the mirror and say, I'm insulted at you. You insulted me. Financially, you insulted me. The obvious is right here in our face every single day, and we don't even see it. It's so obvious. I'm going to say an obvious statement so you can hear it. People in debt still won't hear it. No mortgage in the world makes anybody a homeowner. If you have a mortgage and you calling yourself a homeowner, you got to go look in the mirror and say, why am I saying that? When I know it's not true, it's not mathematically true. Why am I saying that? Wealth is not a look. See how obvious that is that I said that? People still don't get it. Oh, what do you mean? My name is still on the deed. People don't even get it. Hey, stop all that. Is it mathematically true of what I'm saying? Well, yeah, then that's the only answer you should believe ever when it comes to your money. Ever, never, ever not trust math when it comes to your money. If math didn't exist, put it this way, if math didn't exist, we wouldn't have the ability to count money. We would take a stack and go, what do we do with this? What do we throw it as confetti? What do we do? You couldn't even count it. Now you can go 1, 2, 3, believe mathematics. Trying to see what you guys. Juan says, want to see who in debt? Look at the nicest cars at the board. Yeah, okay, been there. Juan says, when they ask why you're not interested in overtime, that's true. You'll never ask that. Cosmic wisdom for you non-IT folks, tier 3 is the last stop. That means the other people can't figure it out. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Cosmic. I appreciate that. That's tier 3. That means everybody below couldn't figure out, and you're the one that says, now that I know this, I would have been asking way more money than what I was asking for. I would have doubled my salary for that, for sure. If I would have realized that I'm the final stop, I would have said, you guys got to double my salary for that. Nicer says, just think how many people are financing phones they have to constantly replace when they break, crack screen. That's why they're making them nicer. That's why they're making them lighter and lighter, more and more glass and more expensive, because they know people in debt, they will never be able to, they'll make the price of phones so outrageous that people in debt will never be able to pay for them cash and believe financing phones is a normal thing, just like financing cars. That's how it works. Good morning, Day. Oh, man, you guys are coming in. Just a second. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, you guys been chit-chatting. Okay, 1 second. I'm catching up. Okay, B-Flow says blockchain is an opportunity too. They're hiring apprentices to work while training them to advance because it's the future of the financial system. I know people believe that, B-Flow. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of the people that believe in Bitcoin and all that electronic transfer stuff. Nope. And this is all you got to do, B-Flow. Let me give you. I'm gonna give you a way that you can check to see if that stuff is true. Okay. Anybody that suggests Bitcoin to you, I want you to say, "Hey, man, can I see your personal credit report?" Ask to see the personal credit report, all 3. And then they're going to tell you this is the normal flow of people in debt. Oh, my credit score is this. And then you got to stop them. I'm not talking about your credit score. I'm talking about your credit report, all 3. Their credit report will show you if they're really successful in Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency, as they're telling you. It will show you. Their credit report will show you if cryptocurrency is really working for them the way they're trying to sell it to you. I wouldn't be surprised that the banks are not behind cryptocurrency. And they're like, oh, the banks hate this. I believe the banks put it out there to say, hey, yeah, say we hate it. And then the other people will just believe it. Juan says, I would have woke up more slaves, only they knew they were slaves. Yeah. But again, Juan, the system is ran on slaves, volunteer slaves. Nobody's there by force. That's how you can remove your feelings out of it. Nobody lives there by force. Nobody's forced to stay there. There's no guards. There's no high walls. There's nothing. There's nothing there. Cosmic says, so if you don't want to be bugged in IT, go to project management. We are not on call nor weekends, but you need a technical background of doing tech work before managing your team. What's up, Willie Garcia? Hyphy says, Cedric, the entertainer voice. I wish a supervisor would, right? I know, right? Dave says, I don't allow disrespect in the workplace, job security or not. I will respectfully put them in their place. Yep, that's how you do it. You don't have that right to overstep that boundary, and I don't care what your title is. And when you're debt free, you don't even add emotion in it. You just say, hey, yeah, I don't accept that kind of behavior. You don't even respond back in a negative way. You just say, I don't accept that. This is the workplace. This is business. Juan says, I get off at 5:30 and get off the phone at 5:45. I clock out at 5:45. No more working for free. Don't ever do that. You better stop that. Dave says, if you set the standard early, people know how far they can go, and when they slip, I let them know it's okay. Yep, exactly. That's you do it right from the beginning. But once you're debt free, that'll be an automatic. That'll be an automatic inside the interview before you even get the job. Because when you're going to get a job, you're determining if you even want to work there. Even if they chose to hire you, you're determining for yourself if you even want to work at that establishment. As Nicer says, it's time for the SMD content to expand into Central and South America and the islands where the Spanish speakers at. Yeah, it's worldwide. Patrick Son, what's up, little bro? Patrick Young says, our great grandparents were taught this mentality. Sure were. So it's not their fault. They just didn't know. And I keep telling you guys this. It doesn't matter who it is. It must be that way. The majority must remain thinking about money the way they do. The majority must stay that way for this system to work. Because I keep telling you, if everybody knew what I'm telling you guys in this channel, the whole economy would crash. There would be nobody left to finance cars, shoes, phones, washer and dryers, pots and pans, lawnmowers, roofs, whatever, you name it. People in the debt matrix finance it. B-Flow says blockchain is paying $100,000 and up because they need it for the deployment of their company. Always get in early and master. Oh yeah, I believe. Now don't get me wrong. This is why I keep telling you guys this. That system is a must. People must believe in that. So blockchain is a good job to get into because there's going to be millions of people that believe in cryptocurrency, believing that one day it's going to come alive and replace actual money. So there's a lot of people that believe that. So blockchain is a good place to go, even though that'll never happen. That will never happen. Anybody in this room, you think you're ever going to see that in your lifetime? No, you're not. All of us will be dead before that ever happens. I promise you. We'll all be dead in this room before that ever happens. And when I say dead, I mean living out your life until you're 80, 90, 100 and die. But if there's people that believe in it, blockchain is a good way to go. You may get in there and master that, you'll make some good money. You will. Cosmic Wizard says, actually, was an article I read yesterday. Someone got arrested for over a payday loan under $200. They be payday loan places, man. They be doing people in debt so dirty. If you got a payday loan, you guys, they're doing you so dirty. Oh, they're doing you so dirty. They're doing you dirty. That's like kicking a slave while he's down on the ground. Man, you guys, I'm trying to put what it really means to get payday loans. It's like kicking you while you down and you're a slave with chains on and kicking you because you can't move. Willie Garcia says, my #1 channel on YouTube, hands down. I'm living the debt-free life. I come here for my dose as I'm addicted to debt-free living. Thank you, Willie. You know it, man. You see those words? You guys? You can't make that up. There is no way around it. You can't cheat. You can't borrow your way to freedom. That's a lie. You can't borrow your way out of debt. That doesn't think about it. People believe in the debt matrix that they can borrow their way out of debt. That doesn't even make any mathematical sense whatsoever. You can borrow your way out of debt? Well, if you just do the math, it looks like you're going deeper in debt. You're going further under zero. People believe that their personal houses with a mortgage is an asset. They believe that. Patrick says they need you to be bilingual, big bro. I know. Maybe that's, you know what, little bro? I've always had the urge to speak Spanish. Always. I never knew why. I never knew why. Like when they speak, when Spanish speakers speak around me, I was always tuned in to trying to understand what they're saying. No other language am I like that, just Spanish. It's time. I guess it's going to be time to do that. Cosmic Wisdom says, yep, even though it was illegal in the state. Oh. Juan says, say you're a truck driver or a cargo sprint van operator. You think it's ever okay to finance equipment, or should you work for company until you have enough money to pay cash? I say it like this, Juan. You become debt free. You become 100% debt free. You'll know exactly what to do. Because I promise you this, you master your personal finances. Once you come on the business side, it's okay to get loans. It's okay to get loans, because I'm going to tell you this. Once you master your personal finances, once you get on the business side, the time to get a loan for whatever business that you're trying to get into, you will only accept the best one in the United States of America. Whatever that loan is, you're going to walk into the bank and say, I need a business loan. They're going to say, yes. You're going to say, hey, I only want the best one in the whole United States. Do you guys have it? Do you guys offer it here? No. Then you go to another bank and see who does. That's when you get a business loan. That's how you're going to work. That's how you treat once you learn here, you're going to naturally carry it over here. But once you start making money, you'll understand the purpose of getting loans over here. There's a purpose. There's a reason. But if you ain't got it here, don't even worry about over here yet. Don't even talk about investing. Don't talk about in the stock market. Don't talk about any of that. If you're in debt here, don't worry about any of that. NC Big says, people see me working. If I say wait a change, if people see me working, if I say wait a change, they say, hey, could be worse. At least you have a job. I'm not sure what you mean by that. People see me working. If I say wait, you got to reword that for me, NC Big. Patrick says, okay, cool. I'm learning Spanish now. I'm pretty excited about that. Oh, yeah. I might have to learn multiple languages when I travel the world speaking this savings minus debt. When I'm filling rooms talking about this, I might have to learn how to speak these languages. And Spanish I think Spanish is the second most, other than English. I think Spanish is the next one. Why not? Javi says, I guarantee everything Vision is saying is everything that Day said the day moment she decided to take control of her finances. Oh yeah, we all say it. When Vision said that, you can tell, I knew immediately what he was saying because I felt it. I just didn't know what to do about it until I woke up and got out of debt. Thank you, Art. Art says, I never want to live paycheck to paycheck again. It's the worst feeling, and anxiety. It's just insane. Yes. Totally insane. Totally insane. It's like, I remember here I am making six figures, $160,000 a year, and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I remember walking into my fancy place. I remember driving in my car and thinking, I'm one job loss away from being broke. I remember thinking that kind of thing. Man, if I lost my job, man, I'd be pretty messed up. How long? And I would think at the time, how long would it take me to be really messed up? About a month. And then I thought, man, I've been working for 40, 50, no, 30, almost 40 years, 30 something years, right? And I wouldn't last a month. I remember thinking that, and that was before I got out of the debt matrix. But these are things that I thought in my mind all the time. Just the weirdest thing. And but I didn't do anything about it because I thought the only answer was to keep getting a better job to make more money. The next job will get me out of debt. And I'm gonna explain this to you guys so you can understand something that happened to me. I remember my last job, I used to work for an airline in Seattle, right? And I was making $110,000 a year there, right? And I remember once I became debt free, I decided I was going to quit that job. But just before I quit that job, T-Mobile called me and they said, "Hey, we'll pay you $160,000 a year, right?" That's a $50,000 a year raise immediately, just like that. I said, "Cool, man." And then I left the airline job and went to T-Mobile. But guess what? The money didn't matter at that moment. It didn't matter to me anymore. Because I thought that was going to be the answer. That still wasn't the answer. I only stayed there a month and then I quit. You know, when I quit, they said, "Hey, well, why are you quitting? Where are you going? You want more money?" I said, "You guys gave me a $50,000 a year raise. And as soon as I say I'm quitting, you offer me more money?" I'm thinking, how much money is out there? There's a lot. There's a lot. Dave Bourne says, a lot of people are diagnosed with anxiety and stress due to debt, yet the overall never society, and people never link them to, oh yeah, they don't link them together. They don't. That's true. Hold on for a quick second, you guys. I have to use the restroom break. All right, so hold on. All right, I'm back. All right, I'm trying to answer these questions as fast as I can. Juan says, why is it that the big dealerships will only finance a car that costs 10 to 15K plus, but not a car that costs only 4 to 5K? Because they make more money off a higher priced car. It's just business. Only people in debt finance cars. That's the simple answer is this. Only people in debt finance cars. Because listen closely. People walk on the lot because what? They don't have the money for the car. They don't have the cash to say, I want to buy that $40,000 car right now. Here. So they have to finance it. And if they don't have the money for the car, guess what else they don't have the money for? The taxes. They're financing the taxes too. People in debt don't know that. That's why car dealerships just do what they wish, because if you're in a car lot, that means you have no money. That's why you're financing it. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody in the world, in any language, in any country, nobody. Juan says, never been late doesn't mean you're financially free. No, doesn't mean that. The banks reward people that pay back their money on time, and then they reward them with a credit score. Here you go, slave. Now you're at 700. You happy now, slave? Oh, you want higher? Or you want an 850, slave? Okay, well, go get in more debt, make better payments, give me my money back, and I'll stamp you with the 850. How about that? Juan says, you have more debt than you have income. Yep, debt to income ratio. Check it out, debt to income ratio. When you're not in debt, there is no ratio because you have no debt. You remove the word debt out of that debt to income ratio. There's nothing to compare it to. You just got income. That doesn't apply to me anymore. Debt to income ratio means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. Only to people in debt. Hence, debt to income ratio. Doesn't it just make sense? Just makes sense to me. What's up, Fresh Prince? Juan, Red Pill. Juan says the rules don't apply. They don't apply to me. That stuff means, those rules don't mean anything to me. Juan says the rules only apply to those in debt. There are no rules. No, there's rules. There's different sets of rules over here, Juan. Okay, there's rules. Don't get me wrong. There's rules. Once you get out of debt, it's time for you to understand the rules, not the laws, but the actual rules of the tax system. There's rules and there's laws. You already know. Once you get on this side, you're going to understand, oh, that's why those laws are in place. Okay, I got it. And then there's a set of rules in there. Once you understand the laws, you understand the rules. Once you understand the rules, you're like, oh, okay, you do this, that, this, and then you go left, right, left, and then you'll never have to, then you can legally never pay taxes again. Oh, I didn't even see that. Why I didn't see that? Because I was in debt. Once you get out of debt, you're like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. Juan says, I'm about to buy a 2002 Chevy Tahoe cash soon. You better believe it, man. Little bro says, preach. Thanks, bro. Juan, is it okay to take a mortgage if you plan to pay it off in less than 30 years? Just plan, but have a strategy to do so. Yeah. Again, Juan, once you can become debt free, when it's time for you to buy a house, you'll know exactly how to buy a house. There's only two ways. Number one's cash. Number two, the best mortgage in the whole United States of America. That's the only mortgage you will ever accept. If you cannot get that mortgage, you're not ready for a house. Period. Now, those of you that might be caught up in, the buying versus renting fiasco. Hey, man, you're throwing away money on rent and all this stupid nonsense. This is what I want you to do. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Yes, including your mortgage. Yes, including collections. Yes, including all that. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have for a house. If that number's in the negative, you have absolutely no money for a house. Stop even looking at them. No mortgage in the world makes anyone a homeowner. I don't care what your people in your neighborhood says. It doesn't matter. Math doesn't care how they feel about, if they feel like they're a homeowner, whatever, it doesn't matter. Math doesn't care. Math doesn't care how they feel about being a homeowner. So what? Juan says the dealership will say they will throw in a car warranty, but don't say they are charging you. Listen to this, like this one. Only people in the debt matrix prepare themselves to be at the car lot for all 8 hours to buy one car. They only do that to people who finance cars. I would never spend all day at a car lot to buy a single car. That is absolutely insane. They set up the little kiddie stations, prepare you to stay there all day to buy one depreciating object, crossing your fingers. This is what they're doing. They're sitting in a car lot all day, crossing their fingers, hoping to get financially attached to this depreciating object for the next 84 months of their life. They're crossing their fingers for it, hoping the person comes back, but whoever's behind the glass back there with magical monthly bill paying powers to grant this person, you're granted. You're attached to that thing for the next 72, 84 months of your life. Not only are you attached to that thing, you're attached to your job too now, because you can't leave your job because you're attached to that. See how that works? People in debt, they don't know that. They'll get that depreciating object and go around and tell everybody in town what a deal they got and how much the car costs, like they paid cash for it. They be saying this stuff out loud. You think you can show this to them? You can show this video. Hey, listen, if you're getting feelings about it, if you're getting upset about it because you're in the debt matrix, that's why you feel like that. Once you get out of debt and know you don't finance cars, you'd be like, oh, they're not talking to me. They go around town, tell everybody, hey, man, I got it for $30,000 like they paid cash. No, you didn't. What are you talking about? Why are you telling everybody that? That was me. I did it. I thought I was impressing. Only who people I was impressing? People like me. People in debt. Because only people in debt finance cars and brag about it. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm laughing at myself when I'm thinking about myself doing that. Exactly. Juan said, I got a 30-year mortgage, but we'll pay it off in 15. Look at the amortization table and figure out how to accelerate the time. Most of my payments go to principal now. Never finance appliances. I rarely buy things. I get them used from someone in debt. That's how you do it. People in debt, they don't know that. Once you get out of debt, you got to remember you'll have cash. And then if you have cash, you let the people in debt pay the full price for it. And then when they get in over their heads, you buy it from them for half the price. See what I'm saying? That's how it works. Nonstop Dre says, what industries do you think are going to be great into technology? Like AI. Let me look at what I see. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. This is what I say. Okay, let me see. Student loan debt is in the trillions. Okay. I would figure out how to invest in some kind of security. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about stock market. I'm just saying out loud what I would see a stock person too. I would say, hey man, I want to look how I can invest in student loan debt. I want to see how I can invest in car loan debt, how I can invest in, and when I say invest, I mean companies that maybe cater to student loan debt, credit card companies. How can I invest in credit card? These are things that are never going to change. Definitely invest in like Tesla, electric cars. This is just how my thought process is, but mainly surrounded by debt. I look at things that people do in debt because it's obvious. If it's trillions of dollars in debt, that means people are doing that. That's why they're trillions of dollars in debt, because that's what they're doing. So you just look for the obvious. Like for example, too, say like when it's time to buy a house, right? I would be listening for big companies that shut down in cities. Say like there's a big company that shuts down. I would go immediately to that area to buy homes. Because as long as there are people with mortgages that believe they're homeowners relying on a single job, there will always be homes available. Always, anywhere you live. So you hear a company shut down, you go immediately because there's going to be foreclosures, there's going to be tax liens because people refinance their houses. They have mortgages that are so upside down they would have to pay their way to get out. They don't even have money to pay their way to get out. So guess what? It's going to get foreclosed on. So it's a cycle. You can clearly see there's a cycle. There's a way to do things. There's a way to see things now. It's obvious. Cosmic was all industries. Pharma, finance. Yeah, big pharma is a good one. That's a good one. Hyphy says, damn, I've never seen 40 people in the chat. Oh, yeah, me neither, man. I didn't even notice that. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Appreciate you. Appreciate you showing up. You can jump in anytime. This is Q&A Sundays. I know I'm blabbing, but you guys can come in anytime. And again, today is more about you guys. Even though I'll be yip yapping, this is just my passion. You guys can cut me off at any time. All right. You're right. It's getting out. I love it. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, Mazda. LA Sports Live. What's up? Checking in. Grinding, paying off this CC debt. 5K down, 5 to go. Congratulations, LA. I know what that means. And you can definitely going to get a congratulations when you pay that bad boy off. Believe that. Thank you, Nicer. Linnell, besides investing, Vision says, Linnell, besides investing in your financial services and advice, what is your opinion on books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Cash Flow Quadrant, Guide to Investing with Intelligent. I put it this way. I believe in everything that Robert Kiyosaki is saying and what he does. Okay. But I want you guys to understand one thing. He is not talking to people who are in debt. So when you hear him say, hey, I use debt to make money. Yeah, he does. But he's not talking to people in debt, personal debt. He's talking business debt. I guarantee you, he's talking business debt. He's not talking personal debt. So if you're in debt and you hear Robert Kiyosaki say, hey, I use debt to build wealth, he's not talking to you. Because if you believe it and you go deeper in debt than you are, it's not going to come out to the way you think it's going to come out because you're in debt. Cash Flow Quadrant was a game changer for me. A totally different game for me as far as mindset, exposed me to amassing assets that pay me outside of my job. Vision says, Linnell, I should be debt free before even worrying about the stock market investing. Yeah, don't do it like this, Vision. Look at my savings minus debt. Okay, my website, my business. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have for investing equals how much money you have for the stock market. So you tell me how much money. Now you tell me, should you be investing into the stock market or should you be doing that? Do you have money to do that? Because many believe that they have an option to invest outside of themselves, even though they don't have any money. Cosmic Wisdom says, but man, you guys are busy. I'm trying to catch up my fast, but you can't play the game with heavy debt. There's the Discord server. You guys can join that at any time. We do a lot of chit chatting up in there. Thank you, Hyphy. Dave Bourne says, I thought the same way paycheck to paycheck. Now I realize it's not about the raise because I didn't truly understand savings minus debt. It's not about the raise at all. And once you get out of debt and you find out how much it really costs to live on, you're going to be mad at yourself because it's hardly nothing. Thank you, Mazda. Appreciate it. Dave Bourne says homeowner think it's best because they are leaving something to the children. And when they're not leaving anything. What you think that the bank, if they owe a big balance, if they owe more on the house than what it's worth, you think the bank is going to care you left that house to your children? No, they're going to say, okay, you left it to your children. All right. So they're going to assume the mortgage or what are you saying? Oh, here, kids, here's the debt. Now you belong to the bank for the next whatever, how many years, you know? Stormtrooper says, what % of your income do you save? When you get out of debt, you don't look at it like that, Stormtrooper. Because when you're out of debt, you just have money. So you don't say, hey, man, I need to save this percentage. It's just there. You don't really look. You don't look at it. Percentages like that are important. When you're in debt, it's important. But when you're out of debt, it's not important. Juan says, stuck at your job because you're stuck in debt. That's exactly what it is. Nicer says 36 watching, 19 likes. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the S&B family. Savingsminusdebt.com. Let me put this banner up here just in case. Free 30-minute consultation right there. Nonstop Dre says, I used to see guys in the military brag about spending all day at the dealership getting a car they can't afford and their car payments. It never made sense to me, but thanks to I know I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy, but think about it. Like I said earlier, people prepare themselves to spend 8 hours a day at one parking lot, at a dealership. Only people in debt do that. You are disrespecting the time in your life so bad. Time is the most valuable thing on earth. You are disrespecting the time in your life so bad by sitting on a car lot. If you think about it this way, if the dealership can actually get you to stay there for 8 hours to buy that depreciating thing right there, there's a million of them just like it, a million of them. But you're focused in on that one thing that you want, that one so bad that you'll stay at a dealership for 8 hours, 8 hours of the time in your life. They got you. They got you already. Once you get over like 2 or 3 hours, you'll be like, oh man, I've been here this long. I might as well not stop. Yeah, they got you. I would never do that. First of all, I would never step on a foot on a dealership lot anyway, but I definitely wouldn't come on the lot and say like I decided I wanted a brand new car, which I would never do, but I would have to go to a car dealership, right? You think I'm gonna wait there for 8 hours to get it? I'm gonna be like, here's the money. I want that car. I want to be in and out of here in 30 minutes, and it's gonna happen. Believe that. Quentin says, I never buy a vehicle that I can't afford to fix myself. I don't believe in extended warranties. Oh, that's the biggest scam ever. Juan says, how do you find those tax lien homes? I think Cosmic Wisdom would have more information about that. I don't know too much about that. I'm not even there yet. I got to make some money first before I got to have money before I invest in real estate. So until I have the money, I really don't even bother with the real estate thing. I'd love to buy a home that costs 10 to 15K because of tax. Oh yeah, that's easy. Cosmic Wisdom said people don't know that. So who knows what's inside? Cosmic Wisdom says, plus if it's occupied, you may have to evict them, give them cash for keys. You can go the tax lien auction route, be mindful. Yeah, there's always you know what, honestly, if I ever got into that business to where that has to happen, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire a lawyer to have him handle all that stuff. I'm not going to be dealing with any of that. I would always stay one step out of dealing with a person in debt. I would always stay one step away from that. So it would be me, somebody here, my lawyer or somebody say, hey man, we need to get this out. Hey, yeah, handle that. Just make sure you follow all the rules. That's my only thing. If I hire somebody, I'm gonna say, hey, number one rule, make sure you follow all the rules and all the laws, every single one of them. That's what I demand. Do no shortcutting. None. Vision says, Linnell, no, I don't have the money to invest right now. My goal is to get debt free first. Being debt free has become my number one goal, and it's thanks to your channel and advice. Thank you. Thank you, Vision. I appreciate that, man. For those of you that are new to the channel, man, I want you guys to understand I've invested everything into this, everything. I've done something I've never done in my entire life right now. What I'm doing right now, what I'm showing you guys right now, I have never done this in my entire life. To be 100 going on, fueled on, believing in just myself. That's it. There is no guarantees that this is going to turn out. I'm going to survive on this. It doesn't, no, I just know it is though. I've done it by proving it to you guys. Quit my job. You know how big a step that is to quit a job? To quit a 6-figure job? People thought, oh man, Linnell, you are crazy. No, I'm not. How else am I going to show you how this is done? If I don't do it myself, how am I going to tell you to do something that I ain't done myself? I've done it. I've done 2 things, living healthy as a lifestyle and becoming 100% debt free. You do these 2 things right here. Most people believe this is impossible to do what I've already done. I'm doing it. Quit my job. Most people, hey man, you ask most people, have you ever taken a month off of work? Nope. I've done 4 years. 4 years. No, I'm not rich. I decided what I was going to do and I did it. I've always been like that my whole entire life. I make up my mind. I say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Then I just do it. Cosmic says, Google tax lien your county to find out the tax. Oh yeah, good. See, there's always somebody that knows that stuff. Now, this is a Q&A Sunday. This is for you. I want you guys to say, hey, I want to jump in here, talk to LJ, ask him a question, so you can interrupt me at any time. But I want to share something else with you guys real quick. I'm gonna give you guys an idea of what makes this channel so unique, right? I simplify things so you can understand. I just use basic mathematics. I will show you that by using basic mathematics, nobody will ever be able to financially fool you ever again, because you got to remember this: people in debt don't know they're in debt. So they believe debt is part of everyday life. Once you get out of debt, you'll see that that's not true. How do I know this is not true? Because I'm not in debt. So I'm telling you. How do you know what I'm saying is true? Because all my math will always make sense. So if you find yourself getting upset at anything I'm saying, I want you to stop and ask yourself, why am I upset at myself if his math is right? If his math is right, why am I mad? That's what I want you to say to yourself always. That'll help you get out of your feelings when I talk about this kind of stuff. Okay? I was talking to my younger brother last night, and we were talking about some things, and he helps me look at me as almost like a translator, because when I talk about certain things, when you hear about what most people don't think about, when you hear finance talk, your finance, this and that, this is my specialty, because this is what I know, because I've lived it. When I hear that talk, and I'm college educated, and I really didn't understand what that means, can you imagine a person that really doesn't know about finances and money? You think they understand what home equity means, line of credit, HELOCs? If they don't understand their own finances, they have no idea what any of that means. People in the finance world assume that they do, when many do not. They're just afraid to say it. I get it. That was me. I didn't know what my tax bracket was. I had no clue. I thought tax brackets were for rich people to understand. And when I did finally understand what tax brackets, I thought, oh, okay, I just open up the tax bracket, look at me, and then I plug in my money and say, hey, that's how much taxes get taken out because I'm in this percentile. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. My whole salary is not based on the tax bracket. Nope. I had to figure that out too. And I thought to myself, if I didn't know that, I guarantee you a lot of people don't know that. This is where I come in. I explain these things to you very simplified so you don't think it's complicated. Those big words that you hear finance people talk, they mean nothing. That means absolutely nothing. It's just fancy word. Just remember, it's just a word. Take the time to define that word and you'll say, oh, it's just that. Like, for example, we were talking about equity in a house. Now, when I talk about equity, I would assume everybody understands what that means. That's not true. It means many different things to many different people, but it only has one meaning. But if you talk to somebody in the debt matrix, they'll make you sound like it's a different meaning. So I'm gonna give an example with equity. This is what equity means. You take the price of your house that you bought it for, say like you're in it for 10 years, right? 10 years later, you get it evaluated, right? And say like you bought it here at 300,000, and then years later you had your house looked over to see how much it's worth, right? And it's worth 350,000. That you just earned $50,000 of equity just earned in that house. Okay. That house is now worth, since that house is now worth 350,000, you take 350,000 minus 300,000 equals 50,000. That's $50,000 in equity. That's all that means. That means in the house. Now, who it belongs to is different. That equity belongs to who owns that house. So if the person has a mortgage, it's not their equity, it's the bank's equity. They don't know that. They don't even realize when they go, hey, I want that equity. Guess what they have to do? They have to borrow it. They have to borrow that equity at a percentage rate. So if you have to borrow it, it's not yours. But if you own the house and you sell the house, you get $50,000. See how that works? So when you hear a person say, hey, man, I got this much equity in my house, you got to think to yourself, do you own it? No? Then don't disregard what they're saying. It does. Equity means something different to a person in debt versus a person not in debt. You don't have to borrow. If that equity is yours, you don't have to borrow your own money. Do you go to your savings account and say, hey, yeah, I want to borrow some of my money out of my savings? No, you just go and pull it out. You don't sign any paperwork. You don't have to sit there and be approved to get your money out of your savings. But you do have to do it if you want to get the equity out of the house, because you're borrowing the bank's money because it's the bank's house. So if you're a person that didn't know what equity meant, that's what it means. But remember, you always got to remember who's talking to you about it. A person in debt or a person not in debt. Because it means two different things. Juan says net, yeah, not net, not worth if it has all the repairs and costs. Cosmic Wisdom says, how did you figure it out, Linnell? I'm not sure what you're asking me, Cosmic. Juan says, most people that get foreclosed on destroy the house and walls, whatever. That's what people in debt do. That's just part of business. They just do those things. Nonstop Dre says, if you wanted to go back to your prior job, would you be able to? If a company really wanted you to work for them, how much would a company have to pay you to work for them? That's a good question, Nonstop. I'm thinking about how I would fit back into my previous role. Well, first, I've been out the game for 4 years. So they're going to ask, hey, LJ, what you been doing for the last 4 years? I'm going to say working for myself. They're going to say, hey, you've been keeping up with your computer skills? Not at all. Nope. So I don't know. I don't know. Even thinking about having to go to a place to sit inside of a cubicle for 8 hours sends chills up my spine. To know I would have to walk through the same door every single day for 40 hours a week sends chills up my spine. Back to looking forward to the weekends of being off, that whole rigmarole, that sends chills up my spine. That gives me anxiety. I don't get anxiety until I think about things that I just do not want to ever do again. I get anxiety thinking about a 40-hour work week, dealing with traffic in and out oh man. And then you go to work and people talking about the debt and bills and problems. Man, when I think about that, it gives me anxiety because nobody has to deal with that, but they don't know it. But I got to hear it every day. Just to think about that, man. I don't care how much they're paying. But if I needed money and I had to, I would have to do it. I don't know how much it's not about the money anymore, because I don't need that much money I was earning back then. I don't need $160,000. I don't need that much money. A lot of pressure. I want you guys to understand, a lot of pressure comes with that money. Tier 3, yeah, they pay you. A lot of pressure comes with that money. I don't like that pressure. Vision says, shout out to the young lady named Jessica, I believe, who gave this platform, Financial Services Channel, credit for becoming debt free. Jessica? I don't remember seeing that. I got to see that one. Juan says, what's a water filter picture? What's that? That's how I drink distilled water, and I put it in my filter water thing. I just like filtering my water. Juan says, if you take a cash out a loan on equity, you're more in debt. Yes, you are. You're in debt. You're going deeper in debt. People in debt really believe that they can, like, people in debt believe they can borrow the bank's money using the bank's house to renovate the bank's kitchen in the bank's house, and they really believe they renovated a house that doesn't belong to them, not using a penny of their own money. That just, you see how I had to walk through the steps to even try to put the words out for you guys to see how that works? People in debt don't know that. They have no clue that they're doing that. Hyphy says, laughing my ass off, the terminology scam. Equity is not yours if you have to pay it back with interest. It's not yours. But people believe that it is. It just doesn't. They're clearly borrowing the money at an interest rate, but yet they believe the equity is theirs. It makes absolutely no sense. CENTS. Linnell, Cosmic Wisdom says, Linnell, I was curious on how did you figure out the financial terms? With any industry, there is jargon. So was curious on how you figured out financial terms with no business background. I like that question, Cosmic. Thank you for asking. Getting out of debt forced me to learn a different financial language. So the reason why that particular thing happened, I remember looking up something financial, whatever, right? And I figured out, once I got out of debt, people in debt look at financial words differently than people not in debt, right? So, God, I'm trying to put this in words. How did I know? How do I know? I use mathematics, right? So when I listen to financial terms, I listen to them mathematically now. And I listen, and it all counts on who is actually saying that financial word. Is it coming from somebody in debt or somebody not in debt? That's how I know when Robert Kiyosaki talks about using debt to gain wealth. I understand what he's saying financially, because it makes total sense to borrow money on the business side, not on the personal side. I know the person why he's doing that. Oh yeah, because he's at a certain income level where he's paying the highest in taxes. To avoid that, you borrow money because you don't pay taxes on borrowed money, and then you use that money to build whatever you're trying to build, right? And then you don't get really taxed on that money because you borrow the money, and the more taxes you save, the less in taxes you pay. You see how that works? And then so I understand. So now I listen to his money terms differently than I used to. I know right now, and when it comes to finance and cosmic wisdom, I understand that I don't need any financial background whatsoever. Don't even need it. I know exactly how to pick, and check this out, Cosmic. I know exactly how to pick the right financial person that I need in certain points. All I got to do is ask to see their personal credit report. Hey, I need some financial know-how in this, real estate, bloggity blah. Are you the expert? Yeah, let me see your personal credit report. Their personal credit report will tell me if they know what they're talking about. It will show if this person has invested in themselves first before they show me investing in somewhere else. They got to start with home first. They got to start with themselves. Their credit report will show it. Oh, you got a student loan that's older than your children, but you're trying to give me financial information? I don't think so. Because there's no way you can justify in any type of math in any country in the world to justify keeping a student loan that long. Mr. Napalm says, shaking my head, about to go back into pay off debt. I hear you, Linnell. Please, man, you can't. There is no stopping. If you're new to the channel, I want you to listen to because this is real. Listen, add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals the cost of your slave papers. Debt is the colorblind slave master. So don't worry about what color you are. Don't worry about any of that. That's a facade too. Don't worry about that facade. That's a trick. That's smoke and mirrors. Debt doesn't care because all it sees is green, baby. It's the colorblind slave master. So add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals to the price of your slave papers. Are you willing to pay them? If you're not, you're going to be a slave until you're dead. Juan says, when you escape having to go to work, would you never want to go back if you don't have to? Of course, I'll never go back to work if I don't have to. But if I have to, I will, because that's the only way I can get money. There is no other way to get money. I have to go to work. So if you guys ever saw me working at a place, hell, working at McDonald's, I don't care. If you saw me say, hey, is that you, LJ, talking about your debt free? Yeah, that's me. Why are you working here? I needed money. How else am I supposed to get it? What am I supposed to do to get money if I don't work? There is no other answer. So don't be ashamed to work. Hey, if you're working somewhere you don't like to work, remember, you're working to get out of debt, because once you get out of debt, you won't work there anymore. When you're at people that don't have debt, they don't work at places they don't like. That doesn't happen. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. Nope. Dave says they're doing a lot for the bank. Mighty nice of them. They're doing a ton of stuff for the bank. Best version says your job is your shovel to get out of the debt hole. Sure is. That's your job. Your job does that. That's all it is. It's just a shovel. Mathematics. Mr. Napalm says about to go back into the 95 grind to pay off debt. And yes, the thought of repeating the same routine daily is a downer. At least I'm close to home and not having to deal with traffic. That's a plus. But once you get out of debt, that won't even be a reason. Best version says mindset is key, and the way you look at things. Day says best version motivation. People don't think of it that way. They have a job that can help them pay off the debt. That's what I did. Now all I see is debt at work. Now all I see is debt at work. It's crazy how your lenses change. Totally change. You can't even help it. Juan says you can write off business equipment taxes. Oh yeah, that's a whole different world over there. Your tax different on business too. Dave says sometimes I feel like I'm doing one big case study at work, and I see the chains of debt. Best version motivation. Big case study. Okay. The answer to get out is easy. The plan plus dedication is hard. Amazon does every year. Exactly a day. A plan, a consistency over time, keys to success. That goes for anything. Best version says having a free and clear paycheck every month is priceless. Sure is. Yet Day says, yes, I make sure all of my monthly expenses come out of less than one check. Let me bring this back up real quick here. Now you guys can jump in at any time. I want to do a couple things too. This is Q&A Sunday. This is you guys. Whatever I'm talking about is just filling the time gap, okay? But I wanted to bring up something that we also talked about, me and my brother and I. Like felons, okay? People that have made mistakes in their lives and now are branded a felon, right? Just for simple mistakes, and then as you get older and you think back and you're like, damn, man, I can't believe I did that. So, and now believe that because they're stamped as a felon, they only can make so much money, have to deal with certain things. And so everybody that's not stamped will always be financially ahead of them. Let me tell you something, okay? That's not even true. That's not true, okay? This is all that matters. I'm going to show you something. Let me show you something. You see this credit score right here? do something. Let me make sure one second. I forgot I put that there. I was using that earlier, but ignore that. Okay. Now, when somebody looks at a credit score like this, they would think this person is broke, doesn't manage money well. They're not anybody. Look at their credit score. It sucks, right? But what you don't see are the zeros below. Look at all those zeros. See all those zeros? See all those zeros? And one little balance. Don't worry about the small balance up there. Don't worry about that. But look at all, pay attention to all the zeros. That's the only thing that counts. Who's closer to zero and above? And if you're a felon, you probably think you can never financially pass people that are not felons or can get certain jobs that like they can get jobs you can't because you're stamped. Don't fall for that. That's a trick. That's all a trick. This is the only thing that matters. Who's closer to zero? Some people with the highest credit scores are the deepest in debt. The people with the top-notch jobs that they had to spend X amount of dollars to go to college for, they're in the deepest debt. You're financially ahead of them, and they don't even know it. So don't worry about that stamp. Don't worry about that mistake you made. This is the only thing that matters. Get to zero. Once you get to zero, you'll stack your cash. Once you stack your cash, you'll have enough money to get a lawyer to remove that crap. If it's removable. Then again, you probably won't even, you really don't even have to worry about it, really. You don't. You could have more money than the people you think you can have more money than because they have a better job or they went to college, blah, blah, blah. That means absolutely nothing. You can turn yourself around. You can turn it around. You can. Get out of debt. Get out of debt and you'll see, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I made that mistake, but it still doesn't stop me from becoming a multimillionaire. Correct. It won't. It won't stop you. You can still do it. You can. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up here. Priceless. Okay, Nonstop Joy says, is there any company you would like to work for? If so, what job would you like to do, assuming that you could choose your hours since you're debt free? That's a good question. If there was a job that I would love to take, because there's no job that I love, but I would love this job. I would love to work for the biggest banks in the world. Now, when I say work for them, if they saw, say like this, say like somebody at one of the biggest banks in the world came across my channel, they would hear me and know I know. They would know I understand. They would know I see the other economy. They would know that I see it. They would know that I understand. So I would work for them, but I don't know what these positions would be even called. I have no idea what it would be called because it's not a position that would be advertised on a job board. They would know exactly where to place me. And I can imagine being placed in there and exposed to even more of what I don't see. Because every day right now, when I talk to you guys about that, everything comes together like a puzzle every day. Every day there's another piece added that I didn't see. Oh crap, that's why that is that, and that makes that. Okay, and then another piece comes in and it's like, oh, that's why that and that equals this. That would be my dream job, to work for the biggest banks in the world, and they place me, because if they saw my channel, they would know exactly where to place me in this big whole economy system thing. They would say, oh, you know this, you go here. And even if you come to my channel and say, hey, Linnell, if everybody knew this, people always do this, the doubtful people, right? They'll come in and say, well, that's not true. If everybody did that, the economy would crash. I know this, and you're saying this. Yeah. What's that got to do with anything? That's true. Yes. If everybody listened to what I'm saying right now, the whole economy would crash. Yes, that's true. But what's that got to do with anything? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's out in the open. Everybody understands math. It's not anything. So the banks would know I would understand the whole concept of how everything works. I couldn't even imagine what they would pay me. I don't know. Because what I teach is absolutely priceless. What I teach really has no price tag on it. You know why? Because it's generational. Once you learn what I teach you, you're going to teach your children and teach anybody in your family who will listen. Don't believe me? Send my channel to your family right now and see what they come back and say. Hey, I understood every word he's saying. 9, if you send 10, about 8 of them will come back to you and say, hey, what's he talking about? That's not true. None of that is true. They'll come back and tell you that. And then you got to think to yourself, when they come back and say it's not true, and then you do the math and say, yes, it is true. That's what I'm talking about. So the banks, if they saw what I did, they would know exactly where to place me. Let's just put it that way. That's the best way I can describe. That would be my dream job if I were ever to work with somebody, to work with the banks, because the banks are not doing anything to anybody. That's the masterpiece. That's the masterpiece of the whole equation. People in debt believe the banks are doing something bad to them, but in reality, the banks are not doing anything to anybody. If I went to a bank to get a loan and they pulled out the terms and the terms they didn't make any mathematical sense, I'll say, no, thank you, bank. I don't want your loan. They didn't do anything to me. I just said, oh, okay, you'll owe me for the rest of my life if I do that. No, thank you. Here you go. Cosmic says debt is like a brick that can drag you down versus debt-free, getting income to lift you up. Sure is. It's like a daily brick too, that you carry around every day. Juan says, just because you went bankrupt doesn't mean you failed. You are a lot closer to debt-free than, oh yeah, you better believe it. People don't understand. You get chapter 7, you are free. You get a chapter 7 bankruptcy, you are free. If people understood what chapter 7 can do for them, they would get on Facebook and say, hey, you guys, congratulate me. Just like a birthday. Hey, I got chapter 7. You would brag about that on Facebook and social media. You'd be like, and then people would say, you think if somebody got on and say, hey man, I got bankruptcy chapter 7, you think people would jump on and say, congratulations, good for you? No, they wouldn't. When it would be absolutely perfect to do so. Even a low score doesn't mean anything. Cosmic said, the sad part is, Dave, most people don't focus on getting over that hump and won't want to see it. Yeah, they don't. Hyphy says, pay off an installment loan, credit scores take a hit. Oh, don't cry. It's a good thing. I didn't know installment loans go on your credit. Didn't even know that. Cosmic says, Linnell, they wouldn't want you because you have them losing money. LOL. They can't make money from your debt-free approach. I see what you're saying, Cosmic Wisdom, but let me say it in a different way, because I know what you're meaning, but put it this way. It doesn't matter that I teach a debt-free approach, because the majority of Americans wouldn't hear it anyway. So it doesn't matter that I'm doing this for a business. In the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, I 100% respect the system that the banks have built. I 100% respect it. And I understand it. And I understand it must be this way. It must be. This is the only way it's going to work. The majority of people must stay in debt for this whole system to work. So I respect that. And to say the majority of people must be in debt, I'm not saying that they have to be. People are choosing to stay in debt. So it's a volunteer system. Nobody's keeping anybody in debt. Nobody's keeping them there. They can get out of debt anytime they wish, at any point they wish. So them hiring me I'm trying to put it in words so you guys can understand what's going through my brain. They would place me in somewhere like say like there's big fraud, not like little fraud you see with people, like big fraud, right? I would easily be able to detect people who are frauding the system, because people in debt have a pattern, but they don't know they have a pattern. And the reason why they don't know they have a pattern, because they believe debt is part of life. And if they believe debt is part of life, they will always have this pattern, a pattern that they don't even know they have. And so they're easy for me to spot. So when people when people are on Facebook trying to push flipping houses and join this to do this financial, when you hear somebody say, hey, quick way out of debt, right there is X'd out. There is no quick way out of debt. Why are you saying that? To sell them quick ways out of debt. You see what I'm saying? I listen to money totally different. People in debt don't know they speak debt. So they would put me in a position that would make sure people are playing by the rules. Because there's rules. Once you get out of debt, you will clearly see that there's plenty for everybody. There's plenty of money for everybody. Plenty for everybody. But you got to remember, you better believe the banks created the tax system. The banks created that. Okay. And I see why it's in place. Don't get me wrong. I respect it. I respect the tax system. Totally respect it. It's like this. Think about it this way. If you're trying to become wealthy and you understand that the wealthy create the rules and the laws, you cannot break the very rules and laws that they create to become wealthy. What, you're going to break the rules that they create to become part of them? No, that's a no. You can't do that. Everybody understands that the wealthy create the rules and the laws, and whoever has the most money, the banks, so they create them. There is no doubt when you get out of debt, there is no doubt that that's in place. That is absolutely true. Can I say it's right here? It says it right here in this book? No, I can't say that. So when you're trying to become wealthy, you can't break the very rules and laws that they create to become one of them. You can't do that. You got to follow them. You say, hey, just follow the rules and you can become wealthy. That's it. They said similar to how banks and other corps use hackers, they don't advertise those jobs, but they use their expertise. Put it this way. I'm going to tell you what hackers cannot hack. It's totally impossible to hack. I'll tell you that. Have you ever heard of a hacker hacking the credit bureaus to changing people's credit scores? Have you ever heard of a hacker getting in there and doing that? How about, have you ever heard of a hacker breaking in the Federal Reserve and taking all the money? No. Have you ever heard of a hacker breaking in where they hold the information of who owes what to how much student loan debt? Have you ever heard of a hacker breaking in there and erasing all that? Have you ever heard of a hacker doing that? Because that'll be impossible. They'll bury you under the jail. You will vanish. If a hacker even did that, they will be buried under the jail. That is clear. How do I know this? Trillions of dollars in student loan debt. That's how I know. Trillions? Oh yeah, you'll disappear. That will never happen. No hacker in the world will hack that one. Never. Generational wealth is what I help create. Whoops. Hyphy says, I want to work for free as a maintenance for a professional sports team. I'll just wear a camera and mic all day to record all the workplace misconduct. Lawsuit threat equal out of court settlement. I win. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, Hyphy. I know exactly what you're saying, Hyphy. Everybody knows that's true. It's a shame that happens too. That's a shame. Nonstop Dre says, have anyone in your family asked for your financial advice? Nope. Chapter 7 is a type of bankruptcy that can wipe out all your debt except student loans and IRS debt, stuff like that. But it'll take you to zero just like that. Abe says, LJ, what's your workout routine? My workout routine been very bad lately. That's my workout routine lately. It's been very bad, a very bad routine, right? I have been immersed into this savings minus debt. I've been like totally invested in it. Okay. So like overly obsessively, not because I wanted to grow really bad. It's just a passion. Sometimes I have to turn it off. So I have to get back on my regular routine because I've been slacking big time. I ain't even gonna front. Am I overweight and fat? No. I'm just not at my regular routine. Once says chapter 7 is bankruptcy, all of your debts erased. You get a new start. You get a totally new start. Zoic says, what happens if debt goes to collection? Does it drop after a certain amount of years? That's a good question. Me and my brother and I were talking about this last night. So I'm going to explain it to you a different way. And I'm going to tell you why you're asking that question the way you're asking it. Debt goes to collection because you didn't pay it. Okay. That's why it's going to collection. They said, okay, business said, we're tired of it. We're going to sell this debt to a collection agency and let the hound dogs come after you. So they come after you. It's like, imagine a runaway slave and the hound dogs are coming after you. It's the same thing. It's no different. Just take out black people and put in yourself. Okay. And look down the line, everybody running with you. They're from all races and colors. It doesn't matter. You guys are all wearing chains. And imagine it's dark. You're getting chased down through the woods with somebody holding hound dogs and a fire stick. Those are collection agents. They hunt down people that don't like to pay their debt. Slaves run from debt. Only slaves run from debt, right? And then most slaves believe that hey, if I just ignore it for 7 years, it'll just fall off, which is another myth. That's just people in debt say these things. Okay, you ever hear somebody, hey man, don't worry about it, it'll just fall off in 7 years. You better not ever take financial advice from that person ever again. They're a slave. Slaves talk like that. Within, say like you decided to do just that. Hey, I'm gonna just leave it on there to fall off in 7 years. In the meanwhile, while you're waiting 7 years, guess what happens to you? You pay the highest interest rates in anything you borrow. People in debt live in the negative. They have no idea that they live in the negative. So every penny that they have is borrowed. So if you got collections, you're paying the highest price possible because you got a collection on your credit report. So you're paying the highest rates possible because you're in debt. If you add up all your savings, add up all your debt, savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. If you're in a negative, you have no mathematical choice but to borrow every single penny you have. Nonstop Dre says, he who has the gold makes the rules. Yes, the wealthy make the rules. This is clear. I'm on the other side, people. It is crystal clear that the wealthy make the rules. It's crystal clear. It's not a big deal. I'm not mad about it. Who cares? It's true. Yeah, you got the money. Yeah, it's true. And I'm talking people with real money, not fake money, real money. Juan says, once collection happened, they threaten to sue you eventually, wage garnishment. Once it hit collections, you negotiate to pay them less than what you owe. If you negotiate a number, that's true. All that, you just negotiate that down. They pay when they buy that debt from the person that you originally had the debt from. They buy it for pennies on the dollar. They don't pay full price. So if you owe a company $1,000, right? They don't buy that debt from the company for $1,000. They probably buy it for $300. They take it and try to get the $1,000 from you. That'll be a $700 profit if they can get $1,000 from you. It's just business. Look at bill collectors as the hound dogs chasing down the slaves because they owe money. Those are the hound dogs. Bill collectors don't call me because I don't owe anybody money. They have absolutely no reason to call me. Juan says it updates on your credit system and say paid and settled. Yep. Once you pay it, yes, it'll update it on your credit system. Cosmic Wizard says, speaking of making the rule, I'm meeting my state representative in April, going to the state capitol to talk about 2 laws those of us in real estate don't want. We already killed one. See what I'm saying? See how it works, Cosmic? I know exactly how it works. That's how it works. People in debt don't count. That's the harsh truth. If you're in debt, especially if you're in debt, you don't know how much debt you're in, you don't even count. In the bigger grand scheme of things, you don't count. You're in debt. You're a slave. You don't count. Slaves don't count. They make you feel like you count. Don't get me wrong. They can make you feel like it, but you don't. Dave says, hack the student loan database and erase debt, man. You will be jailed. You'll be gone. You'll disappear. You'll vanish. They won't even announce that you did it. If you ever hacked a student loan database and got in there somehow and manipulated something, I guarantee you wouldn't even make the news. Even if it's been done, you'll never know that it's been done. You'll never know that. How do I know this? $1.7 trillion in student loan debt tells me. It's crystal clear to me. A debt that can never be paid off unless you pay it off yourself, that will never, ever get hacked. That will never happen. I can tell you, if you have student loan debt, I can prove to you that you're a slave. Student loan forgiveness programs, those are slave camps. They tell you how long you're going to work, 10 to 25 years, how much you're going to make, what area you're going to work, and how long you're going to do it. And during the time, you're going to follow these rules to the T until the end of the time. And even at the end of the time, they still don't promise you that they're going to forgive them. You got to be a slave. If you enter a program and they tell you right from the beginning, we're not guaranteeing you anything at the end, and you still sign up, That sounds like a slave to me. If you don't believe in yourself that you can pay off a student loan debt with it between 10 to 25 years of your lifetime, do I need to say anything more? I hope not. Nonstop Drake says, how come more people don't do chapter 7? What caused the big stigma with bankruptcy? I'll tell you what. It's part of the design. First, this is just my opinion, okay? It's not written down anywhere, but it just makes sense. So I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm going to just try to put this in words. First, you make the word bankruptcy taboo to people in debt. If you have to use this, you're bad with money. First, you put that out there. People in debt believe that. Those chapter 7 will free you. They put in another one called chapter 13. First, somebody comes to, because people's interpretation of deep in debt vary across the board. Somebody might think they're deep in debt at $10,000. Somebody might think they're deep in debt at $50,000, and it's just unlimited, right? A person walks in, people in debt don't like to show the outside world that they are in debt. So they walk into a lawyer's office and says, hey, I'm in financial trouble because I don't know how to pay my bills. Obviously, you can see my credit report. I have no understanding of money whatsoever. Lawyer offers them a chapter 7. They say, cool, you'll be free. What happens? You lose everything. Person in debt thinks, wait a minute, if I lose everything, people around me will think I'm broke, which they are, but they don't want to admit it. So they go. Then the lawyer says, you have another option. What is that? Chapter 13. What is that? What's bankruptcy chapter 13? You'll be able to keep all your stuff. And you just make payments on all this stuff for the next 5 years. So they tell the person in debt thinks, oh man, even though I don't understand money, I'll still get to keep my depreciating stuff, which I believe I own, but I don't. But in my mind, I think I'll get to keep it. And nobody around me will know that I don't understand money because I'll still get to keep all my depreciating stuff. So the person in debt believes they're here for not making payments on time, right? But for some reason, if they get into this program, chapter 13, they're going to somehow magically understand how to make payments on time for the next 5 years, which is a 67 probability of failure, because chapter 13 has a 67% probability of failure. So I guarantee you the majority of people that can be approved, because you got to be approved for chapter 7. I guarantee you the majority of people that have been approved for chapter 7 turn it away and go to chapter 13 because what? They want to impress other people like them in the debt matrix. Crazy, huh? It's true. Makes total sense to me. Chapter 7 can totally free you. People don't know that. People that even people in the debt matrix that get chapter 7, guess what they do when they get chapter 7? They immediately try to figure out how they can build their credit back up, and they're worried about the bankruptcy chapter 7 on their credit report for 10 years, worried about the wrong things, all the wrong things, totally forgetting, wait a minute. I got my whole check every single day. Yes. But you're still worried about credit. Doesn't make any sense. They don't know that. You got to pass what's called a means test. Dave Bourne says, a plan and consistency is the key to success. That goes with money, working out, and other areas of life. You just have to tweak it to iron out the wrinkles. That's it. That's all you got to do. I take care of my body because there's no other vehicle that can be able to get me around on this earth than my body. If I'm out here trying to make a lot of money, but my health is bad. It won't matter if I got millions of dollars in the bank if I can't get up and walk around and enjoy life. So I do two things. Two things are number one to me: my time and my body. I need my body to walk around. Nonstop Trader. The most powerful gang is the government. Nonstop, I want you to stop thinking that the government is some sort of separate entity. They're not. They're us. We are the government. That is also a facade too. That the government is a separate entity. Everybody, the majority of people have some family member inside some sort of the government somewhere. When your family member comes home, who you know works for the government, do you go off on them and say, "Hey, man, how come you're not doing something about this economy? Why are you causing wars over there?" Why don't you say that? They're part of the government. Just take it out on the person you know that works for the government. That doesn't make sense because the government is us. Nonstop Dre says, I love hearing people in college talk about student loan forgiveness. I know, isn't it sad? Hold on, you guys. Bathroom break. I'm drinking water. Hold on. Our carp says, your health is wealth. It sure is. You can't do nothing without your body. Abe says, working out is key. Also having a strong mindset. Oh, yeah, that's key. I'm never letting my body go, ever. When you're young, you hear about age 50. You think 50 looks a certain way or something like that. No, it looks the way you want it to look. I know when I go places, people don't know I'm 50 because they don't believe 50-year-olds can have bodies like I have. They don't believe that because of society. That's what society makes you believe. Cosmic says government can be influenced if you are aligned with the right people. I have found that is very true, Cosmic. It's not and Cosmic, it's not even a secret. It's true. You can just see it. That's how it works. I can clearly see there's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy that you can't see when you're in debt. You get out of debt, you can say, oh, that's why this does that. That's why you got to go there to do this, and this does this, and that goes to that, and that influences that. You can see it. It all connects. It's all connected. Nothing's different. I see why there's rules that you cannot see when you're in debt. There's rules. There's a clear hierarchy. Once you understand these other set of rules, you'll understand them why they're there. You're like, oh, okay. That's the best way I can describe that. Oh, that's why that is that, and he does, she does, that family. Yeah, okay, I get it. Especially when you understand that there's plenty for everybody, and there's absolutely no reason to step on somebody and cheat somebody and rip off somebody. You don't have to do that. There's plenty for everybody. You just got to understand that there's rules. There's rules. Cosmic Wisdom says you can't be a single voice and be effective. That is very true, Cosmic. But You know how I look at it, Cosmic? I'm gonna tell you this way. I know, I understand that I am unique and my single voice is not going to change much. I understand that. That's why I'm going to make the most money, because I have a unique, special skill. That's why I'm going to be rich, wealthy, whatever you want to call it, because I know my skill is unique. It cannot be imitated. It cannot. I understand that what I teach is never ever going to be the majority, because it cannot be. I clearly see the rules, Cosmic. I clearly see them. So it really doesn't matter me saying and speaking the way I'm speaking, because it will never, ever, ever, ever be the majority, ever. It will never be it. Because it cannot be. And I respect that. There must be millionaires to come up here and do certain things that people in debt don't understand, don't need to know. Doesn't matter if they know or not. Doesn't matter. There's certain people that need to be here that understand how it really works. I am here to create the next generation of millionaires, multimillionaires, whatever. The sky's the limit. Doesn't matter. Everybody can't be rich. I keep telling you guys, everybody can't be wealthy. You know why? Because everybody understood what I was saying. There would be nobody left to finance cars, carry student loans their entire life, carry it down to their family that it's okay to carry student loans your entire life. It would be nobody left to do that. That's why it doesn't matter. As long as we have millions of people believing that they'll never pay off their student loans, that's the way it must be. It must be that way. And I respect that. I absolutely respect the system. I respect why they don't allow you to bankrupt student loans. I respect it. Oh, that's why. Gotcha. If they allowed you to bankrupt student loans, don't you think everybody in the debt matrix would do it? Yes, they would do it. Oh, you can bankrupt student loans? Yeah, everybody would apply to bankrupt their student loans, and the whole economy would crash. That's why they don't allow it. Isn't that that's obvious to me? That looks pretty obvious to me. You think they will ever release that many of their slaves? That will never happen. And if you're a person that believes you'll never pay off your student loan ever in your life, guess what? You're going to be a slave until you're dead. If you're one of those people talking about, hey, F those student loans, they don't deserve it. They should have told me this. F them. They ain't getting nothing. And this, they want you to think like that. If you're talking like that, that's exactly how they want you to feel about it. That's part of the plan too. I hope you understand that. Yeah, that's part of the plan. I hope you understand that by you saying F something that who cares how you feel about it? Doesn't matter how you feel about it. But as long as you feel that way, you're going to continue to pay interest on the loan that's been over for since you graduated college. Put it this way. If they if they denied mortgages to people who had student loans, the whole housing economy would crash. I'm going to say that one more time. If banks denied mortgages to people who had student loans, the whole economy would crash because there would not be enough people to support it. See how that works? It doesn't matter if I say this out loud. It doesn't matter. Millions still believe they're homeowners. It doesn't matter. I talk a lot, nicer. And all I drink is water. I don't drink pop, Kool-Aid, and all that other stuff. I just drink water. This is why when you think about getting in real estate, you hear a woman like Cosmic Wisdom, you better take that advice. I strongly suggest it. I strongly suggest it. If you're thinking about getting in real estate, I strongly suggest it. I know if you're in debt, if you don't know about your own money, you don't know who to take financial advice from. You're like, who's saying this? What do I believe in that? Who says this? Who I believe in that? You don't know who to trust in money. I'm telling you, I'm not in debt, but I do understand how money works and know who to listen to. This is Q&A Sundays, you guys. You guys can jump in here at any time. Let me post this link again. You can jump in anytime, ask any question you wish, and I will have an answer for you. Let me put some of my banners up here so you guys can see. If you'd like to share this channel, this is all you got to do is share by sharing it. You don't even have to tell them my name. You just say, hey, man, just Google hashtag savings minus debt, and I will be the only person that comes up in that Google search. And no, I didn't pay for that. I'm just unique. Please don't forget to subscribe. Here's my Cash App because people, and I want to let you know, I want to appreciate all the donations that people give to me out of the blue, telling me, showing me their appreciation by giving me $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, whatever. Whatever you feel like at that moment, I appreciate it. And just let me know what I've done to change your life. I appreciate that. Very much so. That's what really drives me, changing people's lives. That's what helps. That's what I love about what I do. Until I got this job, until I created this business, I've never in my life had someone come up to me and say, hey, Linnell, LJ, you have changed my life. Regular people don't hear that. Nobody accidentally says that to another person. Nobody accidentally walks up to another person and says, hey, you've changed my life. That never happens. Once you hear that, oh yeah, I know I'm on the right track. I know for a fact I'm on the right track. When I have doubts, and I do have doubts, sometimes things will get close and you'll be like, oh my God, is this going to work? And then I think back at what everybody writes on my comments, sends me notes, emails, sends me donations with notes. That lets me know I'm on the right track. You know how many times I've heard somebody say, thank God I found your channel. People that say that, they don't know how many times I've heard that. That lets me know I'm on the right path. Because people don't accidentally say that to anyone. That's not accidentally said to anyone. Anyone. All right. I will look for that. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay, I'll look at that. Nonstop Dre says, same. I haven't had a carbonated drink for over 10 years now, since 13. Yeah, I don't drink pop. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay. I've gone to Sonic and got a Coke or a Pepsi, right? I ain't gonna lie. But bringing pop home and stuff like that, I don't do that. I don't buy soda. Cosmic says, if you can provide a service to help people, that's the road to being a millionaire. It could be a whole host of things. Helping people leads to wealth by default. Sure does. You're solving a problem. You know what I've learned since I'm doing this right now? I'm solving a problem that people don't even know they have. I mean, they know they have it because they're living paycheck to paycheck, but they don't know they have it because they believe it's normal. They believe having debt is normal. It's not normal. Debt is only normal to people who are in debt. Hyphy says, we've had some really good success stories come across this channel. Very much so. I still believe Hyphy's collab. If you guys haven't checked it out, you need to go check it out. One of the top ones. He surprised me. And I can tell Hyphy's a private dude. It took a lot of trust to trust me to talk about his business, allegedly, on my channel, allegedly. See what I'm saying? I guarantee you, Hyphy don't do that to anybody. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's trust in the SMB family. It's trust here. We don't now allow any dumb nonsense, stupid debt talk. We don't allow none of that. Nice. It says people are always voicing their debt concerns. When I see it online, I show them one of LJ's vids. I wonder, what do they say? They're probably like, what'd she post this video in here for? That was stupid. Nonstop Dre says, knowing is half the battle. Sure, you got to know you're in debt. And honestly, let me tell you guys something. I understand. This is why I know for a fact that this is my gift. You know what it's like to walk around now to be able to listen to any financial advisor, to watch any financial video, to go into any financial business and automatically just listen to see if somebody's full of crap. Just like that. And they have no idea that I can hear them or see them. They have no idea. And I'm going to tell you how it's done. People in debt don't know they're in debt, so they only speak debt. Somebody that believes debt is part of life, they are defenseless against me. Their gun is empty. I know the answer to their question before they even finish it. And they don't even know how I'm doing it. I could tell them, hey, I'm just using mathematics. That's it. I'm not doing anything fancy. You know what they would say? What are you talking about? Exactly. That's my gift. That's why I say when a big bank person's executive, whatever, as soon as they watch my videos, they're going to know. They're going to know they want me. They would know exactly where to place me. I don't even know that because I can't see the bigger picture. Because if I got into a big bank business and I'd be exposed to what's really going on, oh my God, it'd probably just blow my mind. I know there's a lot that I'm not seeing. I know it. And this is the crazy part about it. What if some big bank reached out to me and said, hey, LJ, we understand that and we're going to place you here and we're going to show you everything that you don't see. They could show me literally, right? I could come back on my channel and tell you guys about it. People in debt still wouldn't understand what I'm saying. Everything is hidden in plain sight. That's the lovely thing right now. Everything is hidden in plain sight. None of it is hidden. Hyphy says, rumor has it. Dave says, I think hearing other people's testimonies really helps out. I know it helped me on my debt-free journey. Yeah, it does. That's why I like inviting people on this channel so you can hear not just from me. Cosmic Wizard says, I had a friend listen to one of your streams. He listened to Dave's story and he is starting to get out of the debt matrix. Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for letting me know that, Cosmic. I appreciate that. I know Dave's testimony. That was amazing. I was thinking about taking a clip out of that video and just make that like a minute long, video so somebody can click on it. Because when they hear the excitement in her voice, you know that can't be made up. You know that is her. You know she's excited about something. You know, even if you've never been if you're deep in debt, and you hear Dave, the way she's speaking about being debt free, a person in debt would hear that and be like, man, You can't make that up. There's something that she's feeling and seeing that I can't see. Let me just follow what they did and I can see it and feel it too. Nicer says, most people posting about their student loans, and there's also small business owners that can benefit by participating in this channel. Oh yeah, everybody. Nicer, this has no level. I don't care if a person's making $1 million a year compared to a person making $10,000 a year. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. It can help everybody. Everybody that's willing to listen, they got to hear it. Nonstop says, people can't do better if they don't first know better. That's true. They don't know. Hyphy says, I have a friend that is subbed and he listens every once in a while, but I don't pressure him to focus on his debt. I'm hoping one day he'll have a LJ sitting in his Lexus outside the gym. Oh yeah. LJ sitting in his Lexus outside the gym. For those of you that don't know what that means that one day something came to me after work. One day I was coming home from work because I usually went to the gym right after work, right? And I remember being parked outside of the gym. It had to have been daylight savings time because I knew it was still early, but it was getting dark. I still remember the day. I still remember the weather. And I remember sitting outside the gym looking at LA Fitness, saw that it was getting kind of dark. It was almost dark, but just before. And I remember looking at the sign of LA Fitness, and I thought to myself, is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? I'm going to get up, go to work, spend 8-9 hours there, come home, get off work, go to the gym, be in there a limited time, knowing I have to hurry up and get home so I can cook. Excuse me. Sorry. Cook, eat, and then start the same repetitive process all over again. I said, is that going to be the rest of my life? I remember I'm trying to put myself there in that car. And I remember thinking that. And I was looking at the gym. And I said, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? I said, I absolutely refuse to believe that. I absolutely refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. But I didn't have the answer at that moment. How was I going to change it? And I remember the only thing I was thinking is like, I got to get a better job. But I knew in the back of my mind, I knew a better job wasn't going to change it because it still was going to be a job. And then I went on ahead and went in the gym, came home. It was something, I bet you it was something that I said. It had to have been because I said out loud to the universe in the car. And I know it had to have been saying, I absolutely refuse to believe this, that I absolutely refuse to believe I do this until retirement age and then I die. That didn't make sense to me. I work like this every day until I'm 65, then I retire, and then at 65, and then I enjoy life. It made absolutely no sense. But I voiced it out loud to the universe. And then once the universe hears it, it puts things in place. You might not like the way those things are put in place. Because how I got to this point, when I think back at the things that happened to me to get me here, oh, there were some things I didn't like, but I know the universe was forcing those things to happen so I can get here. I know that for a fact. Nonstop Dre says, do you think that you would have listened if someone told this information at 23? That's a good question, Nonstop. And this is what I say to that. The only way I would have listened to a 50-year-old at age 23, if they would have made mathematical sense to me, if they would have said to me, Linnell, you know, if you finance a car, you're going to be paying more for that car than what it's worth. Here, let me show you. Let me show you with mathematics. And he would show me with mathematics. I would have been like, oh. Now you can see the sale price. You could see that nobody gets a finance car on sale, right? Right, because I'm financing it for 7 years instead of buying it right now at today's price of what it's worth today. So if you're financing, now that means it goes up for the bank and goes down in value at the same time you're driving it. Does that make mathematical sense, Linnell? I would have been like, oh, no, it doesn't. If somebody would have said to me, hey, check this out. People with mortgages believe they call themselves homeowners, knowing logically that they had to walk in the bank to sign paperwork to get the money from the bank to purchase the house that they couldn't afford to bank because they didn't have the money of their own. And yet they call themselves homeowners. You ever wonder why they do that? I would have been like, you're right. They don't own it. So why are they calling themselves homeowners? Exactly. Does that make sense to you? I would have been like, nope. Here, let me show you with math. They do the math over 30 years. 30 years, Linnell? Do you know, check this out. If they would have said like this, Linnell, said to me, Linnell, at 23, if you bought that home and kept it for 30 years, you wouldn't pay it off until you're 53? You'll own that house at age 53. I would have been like, that doesn't make sense. Exactly. It makes absolutely no sense in any part of the world, but yet millions of people do it every day. Linnell, do you want to do that at your young age? I would have said, nope. I don't want to do that. That would have made me open my eyes. If they would have showed me, if a person, me going back to me back then, would have showed me mathematically, I would have had no reason to believe it because the math would have been correct. Even if I said, oh, that dude's crazy. He's just saying that because he's 50. He's old. Of course he knows he's old, but I would have walked away and said, but damn, his math is right. And it doesn't matter if he's 50. It would have made me think. Life for businesses, every situation is different. It was necessary for me to pay off my credit cards before my student loans because of the ridiculous interest. That will never happen again. See what I'm saying? Put it in caps. Why do you think Life for Business put those last words in caps? Because that's what he means. I will never let that happen again. Ever, ever. That will never happen again. People think slavery is dead. No, it's not. It's student loan debt. Somebody said, we can't physically enslave anybody anymore. So let's figure out a different way. Let's figure out a way where they'll enslave themselves, but they'll be slaves to us. But they'll put themselves there. How can we do that? All right. Let's say that they won't be anything without college, even though they're broke, but they're broke, so they won't be able to afford college. So we'll come up with student loans. Let them enslave themselves. Let them understand. See how it's free money. Here, take it. We don't care if you spend it on college or not. Spend it on whatever you want. College, invest in stock market, 401ks, buy some tires, loan some to your friends, and give it to them at 18 to where they don't know nothing. It doesn't matter because their parents don't know. Their parents got old. Their parents' student loans are older than them, so they don't know to even tell them that. That way, not only will their kids and their parents be slaves, and their kids will be the slaves too. See how that works? That will never happen again, ever. I kept my student loans for 10 years, 10 years a slave. Dave says, LJ, you had your sick and tired moment when you experienced that. There's a visceral feeling and you know you're done with debt for good. Yeah, okay. That's a very good description of that, Dave. Very good. When I think back at it now, I guess you're right. That was my sick and tired moment. I just didn't know what it was. Because I remember, I remember that night, because I lived in a I considered a fancy high-rise building at that particular time. And I remember after saying that in the parking lot, then I went into the gym, came out, and then when I came home, I was going up to my fancy apartment, and I remember just something not feeling right. It was like, I think I even said to myself, I said, why am I feeling like this, even though I supposedly have everything that people want? You know what I'm saying? Nice car, 6-figure job. I was in shape. Had nice clothes. I had it was furnished nice. I had a nice bedroom set, but something still wasn't feeling right. I was like, dang, something's wrong. Something's missing. Because none of that even mattered. I was in debt. I was a slave with a nice car, lived a slave in a nice apartment, a slave going on vacations, a slave in Australia, a slave in Dominican Republic, a slave in Cuba, a slave in Mexico, a slave in Canada. Those chains that were tied to my wrists and ankles were unlimited. They can go around the world. You know why? Because I was adding to links myself to each one of those chains. I was adding the links. Have a good one, Nicer. All right, you guys, if there's any more questions, this is usually Q&A Sundays. I'm just talking. I'm just filling the gaps. If there's any more questions, please feel free to ask now. We're at 3 hours. My Cash App is savings minus debt for those of you that are listening in the car. My PayPal, these are for donations. My PayPal is paypal.me/Lonnell, Lonnell. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you want a Savings Minus Debt t-shirt, go to my website under products. You can follow me on Instagram at Savings Minus Debt. Savings Minus Debt at Instagram. I should have reversed that. Okay. Free 30-minute consultation at savingsminusdebt.com. You can schedule yourself. Please don't forget to set your time zone of where you live so it can correspond to where I live, because I'm East Coast time. I'm usually, if you're not on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, where I'm from, I'm 3 hours ahead of you. So please don't forget to set that. Are there any more questions? Any more questions? Please feel free to ask. If you're new to the channel, please don't be afraid to ask. It's a safe zone. Nobody's going to make you feel like you should be knowing something. Nobody's going to make you feel like you're dumb for even asking the question. Okay. And if you want to ask me privately, I answer questions in email. Let me throw my email up there just in case. savingsminusdebt@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot me a question. Even if some people shoot me videos to say, hey, man, can you watch this video? See if this dude is full of crap. I can do that too. All right. All right. So if not, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.